All right, I guess let's see if this works. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Brunch. I have a special guest with me today, the Berm, who likes to troll Discord and try to call me out in the beta test program that wasn't even announced at the time, but he's eagle-eyed as is. We're gonna try something a little bit new today, since he also likes to stream way too early on Sunday mornings. So give us just a minute while he is gonna go live, and we're gonna see if we can share our communities together. And I don't know. I don't even know what that means. Um, Berm, I don't know if talking to you right now is going to screw you up, because I know that when I am doing things that require technical patience, I can't talk at the same time. So I'm going to say a quick hello, and hopefully I don't distract you.
I'm good, man. Go for it.
All right. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Doing good. I just went live, by the way, just so you know.
Okay, so we have to hit a
And
fancy button, right? Like, where is it?
I think
Start. I just did it. Start shared chat. Look at that. We have it. It's there. Shared chat
your chat's
is
on.
enabled.
Hey, there we go.
And
That
we
was
can
that easy. That was that easy, man.
I was really stressed out about this, to be completely honest, because I don't like change. I don't like doing things differently than I've done them in the past. And when you were like, "Oh, let's do it this way," I was like, "Oh, crap. Like, I don't know what I'm doing." But we figured it out, right? So
That's
good
fair.
for
That's
us.
fair. Yeah.
Now, in the
That's ex-
background, as we're talking and chatting, I did not do my raids last night. So I'm going to also run those pretty quickly through. People know that when I do brunch this week and I bring viewers on, or guests on rather, it's light week. Nothing's going on in game. Nobody's here to watch me play the game. It's kind of just background noise for our conversations. I heard that you had quite a lovely chat, I think, with Bones and Old Man Logan, about Relic Delta. Is that correct? I saw you live with
I had
them at
a
some point.
I had a lovely chat with Bones the other day, just
Okay.
randomly in the middle of the day. Um yeah, I was supposed to be on the Three Scoundrels
Yep.
but Three Scoundrels got canceled and Bones um DM'd me and was like, "Hey man, sorry. Didn't mean to bail on you," and I was like, "You're fine, man." And he's like, "Hey, you can just come on my stream if you want." I was like, "I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. Let's do it."
See,
And
I was confused.
yeah,
I saw you on there early, and I was like, I don't think Three Scoundrels runs at this hour.
no,
I
no,
should have
yeah.
known.
He just asked me if I wanted to come on the stream. It was a good time though. It was fun talking to Bones. And then yesterday morning I was on Hut's Hangout with Mike, so that was good.
Yeah, I like Huts Hangout. I'm a fan of them. Unfortunately, they do their streaming when I go to work. So I don't get to hang out with them as much, but I don't know if they told you, they basically are like sister podcasts. And Huts Hangout is definitely the superior one. Shit.
Gotcha. Yeah, they didn't explain it too much. Usually they raid into me actually on
Yeah.
Saturday mornings. But I mean, it was one of those things where it was like, "Hey, do you want to come on here?" And I was like, I've never done that. I mean, I guess I could just do that instead of my GAC stuff. I'm not overly concerned. So
Yeah, and
it
was
was a good
that your
time.
first collaboration within Star Wars Galaxy Heroes?
It was, yeah, yeah. That was the first time I've ever done. That was my first collaboration with anything ever. First
Okay.
podcast, first, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've never done anything like that.
So they broke your cherry.
Yeah, yeah. It was fun, man. It was a good time though.
I
I
think
enjoyed it.
a lot of people don't realize, because when I first started doing this stuff, I was not really into it, and I was kind of like, I'm just doing it because I'm doing it. But once you start like talking to people, it gets really addictive, and you're just like stuck in this thing of like, all right, I'm just gonna keep talking and finding new people to talk to, and then you become an internet whore.
It's really funny actually because I'm you hear about these people that talk about like getting burned out and they're like, "Oh, I'm burned out streaming," or "I'm burned out, like I got to take a break, guys. I got to take a break for my mental health." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"What does that mean?" What does that mean?
You were playing a video
Like,
game.
Yeah, I'm like, you're playing a video game, bro. Like, I could play video games all day, and I could sit here and chat with you guys all day. Like, all I'm doing stuff I was already going to be doing anyways, and I love talking to chat, and I love,
Yeah.
like, in Discord, I love talking to people in Discord. So, for me, it's not a big deal at all. I love it.
I will say that, and it goes through periods, and I don't know if you've experienced this yet, but I'm definitely experiencing it to some extent now, of just like you get high volumes of like people just reaching out to you, and you're just tired of people's bullshit. So I've definitely been burnt out in that respect. I had a message. I woke up this morning. Actually, I'm gonna pull it up on my phone so I don't have to change over the Discord. It was from some guy who last year reached out to me about some stuff, and he's like, "Hey, the reason the community is turning on you right now is because it sounds like you are supporting a shit sandwich, so pick the toppings." It's like, that's just like a lovely way at 5 in the morning to wake up to somebody just being like, "No, the community's turning against you, so fuck you." And you're like, "Okay, sure, happy morning."
What's funny about
So
that is like the people talking about the Relic Delta stuff, right?
yeah,
Everybody's like, "Oh man, check out what Arnold's saying. Check out what Arnold's saying. Check out what Scribe's saying." And I was like, I actually Scribe's videos have been pretty decent, but obviously Arnold is kind of shitting all over them,
yeah.
which was to be expected. I don't. If anybody, I'm sure everybody watches Arnold, and if you do, you already know that I'm surprised he got invited because that's what he does. Um,
I think what I'm surprised
and
about, and this actually has to do with what you're saying right now,
mhm.
is obviously there is a volume of things we're allowed to say and not allowed to say. But what I'm surprised about is that they have pretty much like almost there's no like, "Hey, you have to be nice. Hey, you have to be supportive." There's no like, "Hey, you have to be this PR whatever." No, it was just like, "We're gonna give you the update. We're going to tell you the things that you're allowed to talk about, not allowed to say, but allowed to talk about right now. And you can do whatever you want. If you want to shit on it, you can shit on it. If you want to be supportive of it, you can be supportive of it. Just have fun." And that, I think, was strange to me because, like, you see, like, everybody is crapping on this thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's what yeah, that's what I've been seeing. And the point of that though was that I've been telling people like, hey guys, like I get that this is a shitty thing that nobody wants, that nobody likes. And I have good examples of why we don't want this.
Hmm.
But I was like, if you want a good take and like possible good that could come out of this, I was like, go watch Egnards' video. I was like, he goes over some of the positives. Obviously, there's not a lot of positives. I was like, but he does go over some of the positives as well that could be coming out of this. So I've been kind of telling people like, hey, go check out Egnard's video as well
Oh, that's why
because
my
he's got
supporters
some
are
good
going
info
up.
on there. uh,
I've been
but
on
yeah, no,
Reddit.
I've been trying to steer people your way a little bit just because I watched your video and I was like, that's a really good positive outtake on some of the things that could happen in a good way. We already know all the negative stuff,
All the
that's
bad
gonna
stuff.
happen. Like
I
yesterday,
think.
I beat Ray with a G12 Malicos with an R3 Star Killer, and a
Okay. Oh my
G12
God.
Malicos, and she's R8, and I was like, well, I can't do this again in just a few weeks. I probably will never be able to do this again. So I better
I
enjoy
better
this while
get
I
it
can
now.
before I have to gear up my Malicos and Star Killer.
I think that with all of this, I kind of, oh my God, he's not getting the stuns today. I've kind of stopped going on like Reddit, and I started doing it a little bit more recently again, just specifically because of the beta and wanting to get as much info out as possible to people in whatever medium. And what I've found really interesting with everybody talking there is that basically everybody completely is ignoring. They're kind of just hearing what they want to hear, right? Because I just saw it this morning. People are shitting on Scribe on Reddit right now because of it. And they're like, "Oh, he's in support of this thing." But nobody's listening to the fact that every one of us is saying, "Please don't do this." like, hey, please don't do this, please don't do this, please don't do this. But if you're going to do this, because we know you're going to do this, can we, like, here are the things that I think would at least make it so that people don't completely hate every little fiber of it. And people are ignoring that part and just hearing, oh, they support this.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I think I was gonna say I think the reason people are getting shit on is just because nobody likes this, and you guys are talking about it.
Yeah.
I think that's really what it comes down to. Is you guys are talking about it, and nobody likes it because you guys are talking about it.
It's like that Kristen Bell show with the hot rabbi.
Yeah.
Which is a good show. I don't know if you've seen Nobody Wants This, but it's a great show. I'm a big fan.
I've not seen it, no.
Oh, it's
I do
worth
like
it.
Kristen Bell though.
Oh, then you need this. Even my wife. My wife hates Kristen Bell, and she watched it, and she's like, "This is a very good show."
I'm assuming we're talking about the same person though. We're talking about the
Veronica
chick
Mars.
that did yeah, okay, yeah.
Why
Yeah, my wife loves her.
No, my wife hates her. Refuses to watch anything with her in it.
It's
But
one of
she's like,
Veronica Mars is my wife's favorite, so she
oh,
just is one of my wife's favorites. So for her, it's like Kristen Bell's awesome, which is good because she's in some good stuff. So
yes,
The Good
I've always been a
Place.
big fan. I never finished The Good Place. I think I just kind of like fell out of it, but I did enjoy it. I think I saw all but maybe the last season.
They ended it really well. I was really surprised. They did a good job ending it. I mean,
I
it's
have
obviously
heard that.
you don't ever like the ending of a show, but so it's not like, oh man, it was so awesome, but it's like, okay, cool, yeah, good job, guys. Like, I don't hate this.
I heard that they like they knew what they wanted to do from the beginning. You know, like a lot of shows pad themselves out, and it's just they keep going as long as they can possibly go. But that with The Good Place, they kind of like knew the story, they knew the arc, and they said, "This is what we're doing, and we're not doing any more than than that."
Yeah. Yep, that's what it seemed like to me. So
Now, I want to say, I know, chat, I'm ignoring you to some extent, and I apologize. I am watching, I am reading. Good morning to everybody. Yes, I took my vitamin D. I'm just also trying to get through this raid as fast as I possibly can. But on the topic of Relic Delta, what are your overall thoughts? Other than they shouldn't do this, because I know everyone, they shouldn't, 100%.
My thought on, sorry, my chat's not working on my on my overlay. I've never done a chat on my overlay before,
Yeah.
and it's not popping up, but whatever. So my thoughts on the Relic Delta are just the numbers obviously were really high, and I
Yeah.
thought that they just were doing that intentionally. And I agreed with, like, Mike and I were talking about yesterday morning. It's like a negotiation tactic, right? So you go really high, and then you let the community bargain back down to what you wanted in the first place.
So I've heard that said, and I don't fully disagree with it. People have said, like, okay, they're doing this because they want to walk it back and seem like the good guy, and I feel like I'm the bad guy for saying almost like that's just good business, right? Like in any business, if you are going to do something that you're not sure about it, you're always going to start high because increasing something is always worse, right? Backtracking something is always going to be taken better. So that's business 101 to me.
Yeah, that's the outlook I take with this game a lot of times, though, is because I completely agree that you have a lot of people in the community who are like, stop spending money on this shit game. Don't spend
Yeah.
money on this game. Don't spend money. And I'm like, if you don't spend money on this game, we don't have a game to play, guys. Like that's the way that it works. Like I enjoy playing this game,
Yeah.
and if nobody spends any money on it, the game goes away, and now I got to find something else I want to play. But that new thing I'm going to play isn't going to be Star Wars, because this is the only real, like, other than the MMO, this is really the only like Star Wars game there is to play. And this is the only Star Wars game like this. So this is it.
I will
So
I will say
you
that
have to.
in a vacuum, yes, right? Like I do agree, and I'm pro people spend whatever the hell you want to spend on, right? And I do think that there are a lot of people, not how, there are a lot of people out there who aren't able to comprehend the money that some players have, not me, right? I'm assuming maybe not you, but I don't know. But like there are people that spend thousands a month, and they can't fathom that, and it's just they have a higher degree of disposable income than I will ever hope to achieve. But at the same time, I do very much support the players when they're unhappy with something, right? So with Relic Delta, I see a lot of people saying boycott spending. I support you spending whatever you want, but I also do support you saying, you know what, if you are spending and you are no longer happy with the product, then sure, definitely stop your spending, because that's it. I mean, it's really the inverse of what you just said to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, if you are spending money and you're not happy with the game that you're playing, don't spend money on the game you're playing. Like, I just feel like that in general, right? Like, if
Yeah.
you are having fun playing the game, how I look at it, like with the episode pass, right? Like, sometimes I have a hard time, because I buy the episode pass, and sometimes I'm like,
Yep.
"Ah, man, do I want to buy the episode pass?" And then I'm like, no, I do want to buy the episode pass. But I think about it like this. Like, I played a lot of MMOs and a lot of other games, and I've spent way more than $20-$30 a month on these games.
Yeah.
I mean, way more. And I say $30 because I also got high utils. So I spent way more than that on these other games, man. And it's like, just to play an MMO,
You're
give you
spending
to play World
15
of
a month
Warcraft,
right away. Oh yeah, I mean, I grew up. You and I.
$15.99 a month.
Yes, I grew up in the MMO era, right? So I played Star Wars Galaxies, I played World of Warcraft, I played Final Fantasy 11, Final Fantasy 14, I played the Warhammer one, I played the Old Republic. I've played every MMO over the sun, and I remember going to GameStop as a teenager to buy time cards because I didn't have a credit card at that point. And I would walk a mile to go to GameStop to buy a 60-day game card to bring back to my house because I wanted to continue playing this game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm from the same era, man. Like when MMOs started getting big, obviously it wasn't the first one, but it was the first, like, really, it was the first game I think without World of Warcraft, we don't have MMOs the way that we have MMOs
We
now.
don't, no. And people might disagree because there are other prominent MMOs that preceded it, but if you look at like EverQuest back in its day, and I don't know the exact numbers, but we're looking at like subscriber bases of like 100, 200,000. Star Wars Galaxies was considered pretty successful. It had like 200,000 subscribers. And then WoW came out, and within, I think, like 2-3 months, they had 6 million subscribers. Like, it was insane what World of Warcraft did for the, hey, we're an MMO kind of like community.
Yeah, man. I mean, they were doing insane numbers. They were doing, I want to say at their peak, they were in like over 20 million or around 20 million subscribers a month.
It's disgusting
So
the amount of money that was funneling through World of Warcraft.
yeah, yeah. But that being said, I mean, the point is that like you can easily spend, and nobody thinks about it like that when they're thinking about like spending on a game, right? They're like, why would I spend this money on a mobile game? Why? It doesn't make any sense. You're still playing a game. It doesn't matter what the platform is that you're playing it on. You're still playing a game.
Yeah.
And the people developing still have to make money. So yeah, they're going to charge money for stuff. And then again, I mean, like, I have Starbucks right now, right? Like we were talking about earlier. Like
Yeah.
that Starbucks was like $7 yesterday. I don't get it every day, but I get it frequently enough that I if I just
That you know
didn't
the
do
price.
that, I could easily spend money. I could easily spend money if I just replace that, like move my Starbucks over. Now I've got tons of money to
Yeah, but
spend on the game if I
you
wanted to.
don't want to do that because like
No,
that's an
I want my
enjoyment for
Starbucks.
you, you know?
I want my
Exactly.
Starbucks, yeah. Or Dutch Bros or whatever you guys drink. I don't know if you do local stuff, whatever.
I will say I said this before to a bunch of people. My wife and I we used to go to Starbucks. I'm not a Starbucks person. I just like coffee. So like I'll go to
That's how
Dunkin'
I am.
Donuts. I don't care. But my wife is very big into Starbucks, and we used to go to Starbucks like 2 to 3 times a weekend. And I would get my $3 coffee, and I would get my $3 coffee, and she would get her $7 drink, and we'd both get egg bites, and we'd walk out spending $20. And for Christmas, I got her this like $600 espresso machine, like this super expensive one. And I think it paid for itself in 3 months because we stopped going to Starbucks and we stopped spending $20 3 times a weekend. And we were just buying regular coffee now for her stupid expensive espresso machine. So if anybody who's trying to kick the Starbucks habit, I did not. I was not a believer at first, and I'm like, damn, we have saved a ton this year.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. It'll save you a ton of money. I do cold brew and pretty much only cold brew. I don't like hot
Okay.
coffee anymore. But I have my own. I make cold brew at home as well. I've just been lazy in the past week or two. Because I make it and then I've got to clean it and then I've got to make it again. So it's one of those things. Like I saw this video the other day. I'm sure maybe people do, maybe people don't. This guy Jordan the Stallion, he always like tries foods and then he's like, oh, and he throws his glasses. And
Yeah.
anyway, I love that guy. But he was doing a thing where he's pressing fruit now, like to make juice.
Okay. Which
And
was like a '90s thing, but now it's rediscovered.
it's coming back. Yep, it's coming back full swing. And anyway, so the point was that he bought one of the handheld like manual ones.
Okay.
And I was like, why would you do that? And then he's like, well, so the reason people don't juice anymore is because it's so hard to clean these like electric
The
machines. Like, you
machines.
got to take them apart and you got to like clean all the little pieces out and then wash it. It's like a whole process. He's like, with this thing, literally, it's just a pull thing and you just wipe it down when you
And it's
just wipe
super
it off real
quick.
quick when you're done. Yeah.
I think people
So
have forgotten that kind of thing. And I want to touch back just because I am semi-reading chat, and I saw Knights of
yeah, I
Knee,
have your chat up as well. And somebody subscribed on Twitch too, just so you know. I don't know if you saw that.
Who? What? Snorquest?
Somebody subscribed on
Yeah,
Twitch.
we love Snorquest. And Snorquest,
Okay.
I know I'm bad at calling those things out, especially when I'm in like the zone of trying to do something and getting pissed off at a raid. But we love Snorquest here, and I do hope he doesn't quit and that we get this Relic Delta problem solved. And I do want to talk more in depth about it once I get this literally the worst of the runs done. But Knights of Knee had said, hey, I get where you guys are coming from, but not everybody has that disposable income or the money that they can spare. And I think that is the point to me, right? Like the point is that there are a lot of people who just cannot fathom that other people are not in the same ecosystem or in the same situation that they are in. And that's kind of like where I try to think about all of really everybody and say, hey, like I'm not rich. I know guys that spend thousands on this game a month, and I cannot fathom doing that because I'm a teacher. I don't make money. But if you've got that money to spend and you want to, fine, great, do it. I don't care. Like that's your money. That's you make that choice.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps the lights on for me, right? Like that's what allows me to spend $20 a month instead of having to spend thousands of dollars a month.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's yeah, it's tough because it's like I don't have that kind of money. I mean, even if I wanted to, I mean, could I spend more money on the game? Yeah, I could spend more money on the game if I wanted to. I mean, I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
It's just I've got a wife and kids, and I have other stuff I want to spend my money on.
And
Like,
I mean, it comes down to
namely
like
them.
you value the game at a certain price point, right? Like you say this game is worth $30 a month to me. So that's what you
Yeah.
spend, right? And that's
Yeah.
just what it comes down to. You value this at that, and that's where I'm comfortable, and that's where I'm happy spending, and great. And everyone should do that for themselves, is really what it is.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's I spend more on the game. I spend slightly more on the game sometimes. Obviously, we're streamers,
Yeah,
so if I have disposable income from that, all my Twitch stuff, and once my YouTube's up and running and doing better, all that money is goes right back into the game because I'm not doing it to like
make
try to
money.
get rich. I'm just doing it.
Which
So that
speaking
just all gets funneled back into the game. So,
speaking
and I have like
speaking of
upside.
that,
So
whoever is here on
yeah,
my side, no, I just want to get you like like anyone who is on my side here. Burm is a great guy. He's one of the people that I probably talk to the most on a consistent basis. I don't often get to watch his streams because so I can't vouch for them because we stream literally at the same time. But he is,
that's true.
so it's very hard for me to say, yeah, no, his streams are great. I can't lie. I have no idea. I do know that you have a funny little dance anytime somebody follows you. So if
I
you
do. I
want,
do have a
if you
funny
want to
little dance, and
see,
I am live. So if anybody follows me, you get to see my funny little dance.
so there's your that's your way of getting people to come over there. We had
I It's just
Caracol.
a fun thing I did. It's just a fun thing I did once, man. I don't know. I don't remember. Like I said, I used to stream a lot of Call of Duty, guys. So
Yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like I was trying to think of ways to like stand out from other people because I know you guys. If you guys have ever went to the Call of Duty's kind of died off a lot, but when I was streaming it, it was massive, massive thing. And it's like, how do I stand out from these other people? Like, so you
yeah.
have to come up with things. You have to come up with little gimmicks and little things that you do that are different from other people. And what it was is my in-laws, for whatever reason, I'm not getting notifications on.
Unfollows.
Sorry guys, I have like a new setup, so I see that you followed, and I will do the berm dance in just a minute. But I didn't. Anyway, so I my in-laws came into town, and we were making TikTok videos with my daughter, who's 7 now. At the time,
Okay.
she was 1 or 2. I think she was 1. She was almost
Okay.
2 because we hadn't had my son yet.
And
And
it's
we're
the
making
family
TikTok
that
videos.
games together and does all this great. Because you were talking about like playing HOTS with like your in-laws, and to me that was crazy because I'm
I
thinking
did.
about my in-laws playing video games, and it's the funniest thing in the world to me. But
Well,
but
so that's
please
how I met
continue.
my. For anybody who doesn't know, that's how I met my wife. I met my wife playing Call of Duty. I lived in Florida. She lived in California, and I used to play with her brother. I've played Call of Duty with him for since 2009. So was it 16 years now? I don't play Call of Duty anymore, so I guess I can't count that timer anymore. But at the time, I'd been playing with the guy for
Long time.
5 years or something. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I hopped on the game one day and we started talking, and then we just hit it off, and one thing led to another. She like moved out to Florida and we got together, and yeah, so everybody I know games. Like
Okay.
anybody I talk to games, and people who don't do the same stuff as me, stuff like that. It's just one of those things where it's hard to like have things in common with those people, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like they want to talk about stuff. Um I've stopped telling people go pack go when I see people wearing Green Bay stuff because then they want to
Yeah.
talk about the team, and it's like I still watch it every now and then, but it's like I don't keep track of it enough
The way that you
just
used to.
to yeah, the way I used to. So you're gonna want to talk about stuff, and I don't know anything about it. What I do know about is gaming, and I know about Star Wars, and I know about stuff like that, so we can talk about that stuff. So I tend to as most people do, you tend to keep to the community
The
that
things that you know.
you're used to doing. Yeah,
It's funny because like outside of when I'm streaming, I love talking about the game that I'm playing, right? Like so I like talking about Star Wars you hopped on when I was playing Borderlands with C squared, and we were talking about the game, and it's a lot of fun.
That's
But
fun.
outside of this ecosystem, when I'm in real life and I'm out and about, the last thing I want to talk about is like gaming, right? Like my in-laws will ask me about it, and I'll be like, I'm outside of that space right now. Like this is my not screen time. Can we not do this?
Yeah, it really depends on. I guess it really depends on like what I'm doing and who's talking to me as well.
Yeah.
Um, I guess that it really depends on it too. Like it depends on how it feels, right? If it feels genuine and like just like it just kind of happens. But
Yep.
if it's one of those things where it's like you're just kind of asking me stuff to ask me stuff, I'm like,
You're not interested.
You're
I
not
don't need to
really
explain
interested.
this to
You're
you.
just making small talk, yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay,
go
so I'm
back
gonna
to
knock
your
out the bird
story.
dance for you. I got
Okay,
a stream
do
it
it.
from Xander and Trevor Boy. Yep. So let's do it.
Now, and to be clear, you are
Okay,
doing 2 berm dances because you got 2. So you're not combining them. Not even listening to me. Not even listening. He's just dancing away.
and that's it. That's it.
Not a care in the world.
That's how it goes. And I don't know. There's people love it, man. Like I don't know. I people loved it on TikTok too when I did it. So what am I looking at?
It is just like one of those weird things, like where you do something strange and people go, all right, I can do strange.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I have like a redemption on my channel for it. Like I actually I took pull-ups off because my arm hurts, but I was doing pull-ups for a little while too.
I put push-ups on mine. It's push-ups to failure, and I just go but I put it pretty high, so it's very rare. I think Xander redeemed it once, and I think he's saving up for it again. When I put it on there though,
I wonder if that's where Scribe got it from. Like he was like, "Oh, Egg has this," and did you saw me blasting him in Discord? I'm sure.
I did. I saw him in the content creator Discord.
I know you. I was like, I was on his channel. I don't remember what I was doing. Maybe like he got raided, or maybe I don't know what happened, but somehow I ended up in his channel, even though he wasn't streaming. And like I came back. Sometimes you come back, I've got Twitch up, and I come back, and I'm like, how the hell did I get in this channel? Like, what happened? Where's this process happen that I've been thrown around like 15 times? And no, just from being AFK and people raiding other people.
And the raids.
But anyway, I was looking at his redemptions, and it was like, oh, I can make Scribe do push-ups. Nice. And then I was like, 20,000 points for 10 push-ups?
Just 10.
That's insane. Like, you know how many points that is, guys? That's like watching for like months. Like I watch Scribe all the time. Like that's
and you
months
just barely had enough.
Yeah, like no, come on, dude. You get your stuff together.
I actually had hoped when I did mine, I was like, all right, people will redeem these every once in a while, and then maybe I'll actually do push-ups again, because I, used to do them daily, and then you just get lazy. So I was like, this'll help me to get back into it. But I think mine is pretty high, though it is to failure, so it is a little different than just doing 10. But I want to go back to the story that I interrupted.
Xander wanted to know when the egg dance is. So
I don't dance so much. I sing a lot on stream. Like, my problem is I have this pop culture brain, and if anything reminds me to pop culture, my brain will just automatically finish a line, right? And so people will say things in chat, and then I'll just start singing a song. But then I'll go, wait a second, that's dumb. I'm singing this song. Let me change the song to like lyrics about whatever we're doing at the time. So I do sing a lot, but it's natural. You can't just pull it out.
It's really funny that you say that because, man, every time we talk, I'm like, this guy's like my twin, my twinsy brain on the other side of the country. My daughter's always like, Dad, why do you have a song for everything? Like every time
See,
I say anything, you sing a song for it. I don't do it on stream, but I do it all the time with my kids. Like they'll say something, I'll just sing like part of a song for it.
yeah.
And she's like, you do it, you just do it all the time, Dad. And I'm like, I don't know, man. That's just how my brain works. Like
All
it's
day,
just
all day, every day. I am constantly singing. I'm singing. Every song, I'm making up something about my cats. When I'm in school, I have a little ukulele, and the teachers that I work with will like roll their eyes and be like, "Again, like seriously, you're breaking out the ukulele." I can't even play the ukulele. I just strum at it, and it sounds bad, and then I sing some song about whatever the kids are doing. And it never sounds good. It doesn't matter. It has to come out.
yeah, yeah, I feel that.
All right, I got one more team that I need to do, and then I can just completely ignore the raid for the rest of the time. Um,
Yeah, I gotta get better screens. So I thought this would be a good one, and my chat's not showing up. I was trying to make one where I had the game also,
yeah,
like kind of how you do. That's the game. Actually, the screen you have right now is
yeah.
like that's the kind of screen that I want for playing the game in general.
I'm telling you right
Um,
now, go talk to Moonborn. He does everything for
I
me.
meant to I meant to
Do it.
message Moonborn actually the other day. Yeah, I'll message him after we're done today
And I
and see.
remember, like, and I, he's a friend of mine, so I do pimp him out a little bit and tell people about him a lot. But Scribe asked me one time, he's like, "Hey, who does all your stuff?" And I hooked him up with Moonborn, and he had him do a few things. And then Scribe messaged me afterwards, and he basically said to me, he's like, "Man, your guy does a lot of great stuff, but he really doesn't value himself well, because I should have paid way more money for this." And that's like, he just like, yeah, he wants to make like a buck,
Yeah.
right? Like everybody does, but like he just also likes helping people, and he likes the content creator ecosphere of this game.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
whenever he can, he does, whatever he's able to do.
Nice. Yeah, I think I told you before. I've had my hesitation with having people do stuff for me has come from the fact that I've had people do stuff for me and it's always been shit.
Yeah,
Um, I've never gotten anything. I've never paid somebody for something and then been like, "Wow,
this is
that was
great. This
awesome. Great. This is great. Thanks, man. Thanks. Good job, bro." Actually, the one guy, the last one I had done, that's where my profile picture from Twitch came from, actually.
okay.
That was the only good thing he gave me. But it wasn't worth the money that I
The
paid
money
for
that you
it.
spent.
So, I can tell you that. I can tell you that. And he didn't. That was like a last minute thing that he did too,
Yeah,
because I was mad at him. Um,
he's like, "Let me give you this
seriously.
one thing."
Yeah. He gave me some like Twitch panels and like an overlay and some other stuff. And I messaged him back and I was like, "This is bad, dude. I could have made
I could
something
have
better
put this
than this,
together.
and I'm not a graphic designer. Like I could have done this. Like, and it would have taken me 10 minutes. And I'm not even a graphic designer. Like I know enough about Photoshop and GIMP and stuff like that. I've done enough of that in my life that
To put something together. Yeah, we
to
grew
put
up in that
something
era.
together. Yeah, like I could have put this together, bro. Like, what are you doing? And so then he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, man. Man, I'll get you some more stuff." So then he sent me something else, and it was like he had taken something off of like online and changed the colors and sent it to me, and then he gave me my profile picture, and he's like, "Here you go." And he's like, I was like, "I'm good, man. I'm good, dude." Like, I was like, I'm not gonna blast you. I'm not gonna like tell people you did a shit job.
But like, I'm
Um,
not coming back to you.
but like, don't ever message me again. I'm not giving you
I'm
my
not,
money
I'm
ever
not doing
again.
this.
Yeah, you'll never get my money again. I can tell you that. So
In listening to your story, I knew that run was way too easy. I ran it at the wrong level, so now I'm missing 110 MK3, and I'm very annoyed by that.
wow.
Um, I don't know. I thought I should share because that's gonna piss me off for the rest of the day. And if my guild drops the max box because of that, I'm gonna be even more mad. Um, I'll tell you though, Moonborn is like a golden retriever, and he will make sure that you are happy. So I would definitely hit him up if that's something that you are looking to do. You know, he did my overlay. He did everything here, and everything that looks pretty. And I tell people that, like with my YouTube cards, I'm like, if it looks pretty, Moonboard did it. If it looks like Fat Phil threw it together in Canva really fast in 5 minutes, then I did it myself. Because
Yeah.
that's just how it is. All
Reminds
right.
me when I got replaced with a Venezuelan developer.
The cheap Venezuelan developers. Now that my focus is back on the game, people have been saying a lot of things in chat, and I do want to like give a few things that have to do with Relic Delta and the beta testing experience because a bunch of people have asked.
No, good. I wanted to hear about it too, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So as of right now, obviously we have all of the. And you guys, I've said this to a few people. I have been surprised with how forthcoming they have been. There really isn't. There really isn't anything that you guys know that we don't know right now, other than a few things that I don't think they're gonna hide. But I do think they just like they haven't given us permission yet. You know, so like we've asked about a few things, and it just happened to be Friday night, and Monday they're gonna be like, yeah, sure, you can, where you're approved to say this thing. So they've been pretty open, and you know about as much as we do, other than like the things that we have been saying to CG. I will tell you, Xander, I have. It's funny because my wife last week, she was at this thing called Gap training, and I don't know much about it, other than it's essentially like high profile corporate negotiation tactics, and that's all that she has told me. But that's basically what this is. I don't want to say that's what this felt like because it. I think it's unfair. I do think that in my discussions with some of the people at CG, like a lot of people are very angry right now. I do believe they have a right to be very angry right now. I do support their right to be angry right now. But when it comes to things like conspiracy theories and them being bad actors and them like throwing us into the fire, I am taking them at their word that um, they are doing, not that they're doing Relic Delta in good faith, but at least that this beta test is in good faith because of the communication they've given us and because of the talks that we've had. Obviously, to some extent, it is a negotiation of saying like, hey, we understand to some extent what you're doing, but this is going to hurt X, Y, and Z. Like we really were pushing back on a bunch of that stuff, and there has been a lot of pushback from us. I have been highly, 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 and I know that I've said this. People don't realize how much I have been pushing for context, and saying, tell us like if there is something else, if there is a reason why this change is coming, other than just we want more money. You have to give us that context so that we can understand, right? We need to be able to understand what's going on right now. I have been so adamant about that to the point where, like, I'm sure on Monday, Meathead is going to be like, you're gone, because I've just been annoying the hell out of them. So, you know, maybe, I don't know. It's the weekend. They're not working on the weekend, as they shouldn't be. But I have been so big on that and so big on pushing and asking questions, right? Like Fatal, for those of you guys who know Fatal, like he is one of the best theory crafters in this game. He comes up with some of the best counters in this game and figures out the most ridiculous things. He is in the beta test. He is someone that I don't know if he loves it, but he does it. He gets into the minutia of counters, and he gets into the minutia of changing mods, seeing that this works, that doesn't work. He has, if you want to know information about the minutia of counters, like he is the man to go to, rather than myself, who is doing that stuff because I have to do that stuff, but also hates doing that stuff. So while he's been focusing on that aspect, I have been really big on the, hey, I got to ask these questions. I have to I have to find out the answers to these things that I'm seeing people in the community are asking. I have to be the annoying little brother who is pestering them constantly. A lot of the contextual answers have come from me asking those questions specifically, and I've been giving a ton of pushback. And I've said it. Like, people don't realize, and they think that I'm sucking the corporate dick or whatever it is. I have been fighting as hard as I possibly can to at least get us to be able to understand and at least make this not the worst thing in the world, because I do recognize it is so beyond unlikely that they're just going to scrap it entirely. Like, I'm not a moron. It'll happen, I guess, if enough people just quit, but I don't think that that's going to happen, and I don't think that they're going to backtrack on this. And I think it's because there is something that we're missing, and I have been really, really pushing to find out and know what that something is. So there's that. Have a moment of silence.
That's I think just like everybody else, obviously, I don't have any info, obviously, because I'm not in the beta test. So I like to hear all the info as well. Um, I was joking with Mike the other day, and I was like, yeah, I don't know why they didn't add me to the beta test. I mean, I'm kind of a big deal, you know. But but yeah, no, it's good. That's good information, honestly. And it's good to know that, like, we're not just giving into their every that you guys aren't just like giving into their every whim, honestly. Like, hey, yeah, man, we love this. And you guys aren't just saying, oh man, yeah, this is the greatest thing ever, guys. Like, we should all just love them. So
I think that that's
it'd
what
be
a lot of
very,
people
very
think we're
obvious too
doing.
if you guys were doing that, right? I mean, it would honestly, it'd be really obvious if you guys were, if that's what you guys were doing. It would be so obvious. It'd be like, what are you guys doing? We know better than this.
And what I think a lot of people don't realize, and I've said this to a few people. Yes, you have people who I don't consider myself a content creator in the same way. And I've said this before, like, if this game ends, Scribe will probably continue creating content somewhere else. He may not be as big somewhere else, but he will continue doing it. Just like he likes his community, he plays Marvel Rivals, he does all of these other different things. He's looking for ways to branch out a little bit. A lot of guys will probably go on to something else if this game ends. I almost certainly will not. I will almost definitely, I might still keep doing Brunch for a little while because I'll be sad that it's gone. But I will almost certainly hang up my hat and maybe do something productive with my time, because it's my love for this game specifically rather than my love for content creation. I have a vested interest in people liking the game, and I have a vested interest in people wanting to play the game. So I have a vested interest in this change not being the worst thing in the world. And I don't have enough influence like Arnold to just like say to people, oh, this is, and not that he's saying this, but like in the assumption that I'm that big, where I can just say, no, this is the greatest thing in the world, and everyone will suddenly believe me. So I have to make this change if I want to continue creating content in a way that people will say, oh, actually, this is not bad. And that's at the very least what I am fighting for is for people to say, oh, this is not so bad because you guys were able to get this to a point where we're either not noticing it or we can tolerate it and it is, semi-fair. But I think context is going to be a big part of that. And I know in chat, a few people, someone actually just said this too. I saw it said earlier. Something we're missing might be the Saudi buyout of EA. This might be a way to show potential investors that they're looking for more ways to monetize the game. I maybe right, but I that's new information
Well,
publicly. I don't know if EA has been sharing that with their smaller subsidiaries that there is a potential buyout. So I don't know. I don't like conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I mean, I just Googled it just now. I didn't even know about that until you until that was just mentioned. Reportedly about to be sold in a record-setting 50 billion. Is it 50 billion? Yeah, 50
50
billion dollar
billion.
deal.
Yep.
I don't think they need Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes to help them sell this to help them with that deal.
No, I
Um,
was reading yesterday that Star Wars Galaxy Heroes is about 1.8% of EA's overall revenue. And then some, you always look on like text things. Everybody thinks that they are a business expert and they're like, well, they'll cost cut and blah, 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 and this and that. And maybe that's very possible. And I know that this has happened to other games and it's totally, totally possible. Um, I don't know what the revenue to expense is on this game, but I have to imagine that a lot of the expense on this game is Disney licensing, and that a lot of the Disney licensing expense is not so much an upfront cost and is more a revenue share of, hey, we get 20% of the revenue of the game. So outside of that, which is tied to possibly tied to revenue, I can't imagine that the actual cost of the game itself is very high from a pre-revenue standpoint.
yeah, so I agree with that almost completely actually because a lot of the way that like Disney and not just Disney but a lot of these like production companies and stuff like that, the way they do a lot of their revenue, like when they're sharing their products, right? When they're sharing their copyrights and stuff like that is a revenue share. It's not like, hey, pay us this flat fee. It's
Yeah.
you can use our stuff, like with Sony and Spider-Man, right? Like that's a you can use our stuff and we get a percentage of the profits from the Spider-Man movies that you make.
Yeah.
Same with like anything that anybody does in that realm, it's always a revenue share, almost always a revenue share. And that's to protect
Both parties,
for
really.
also it's if anything blows up, now we make more money. So first of all, you have that, but then also the littler company, it's to protect them. Like, oh, this thing bombed, and now we're bankrupt. Um, so it's kind of a two-way street. It helps other people. It also protects other people. But that's usually the point is that that's usually the way that it goes. It's not usually like a
Yeah, and to be
just a
fair, and
flat fee.
I said it, you said it, like we don't know, right? We don't work for the companies. We have no idea, but
No,
that is the way that it would be done that makes the most sense and is most typical. I think that what ends up happening is people look for answers in really, really weird ways, and they go, "Oh, well, this must be the reason why." But and I've said this multiple times on multiple podcasts, on multiple different in multiple different avenues, is that this game tends to have, and almost certainly has, a pipeline of content that is prepared at minimum a year out. You don't you don't start coding Relic Delta last week and say, "All right, we're ready to go." This is something that has been planned. Like look at the way that they
well, they probably
changed the 5-star thing for relics, right? Like that was what, 3 or 4 months ago, and they said, hey, there's going to be a crazy big update in 3 or 4 months, and that's Relic Delta as far as we know. So that's
it
three
kind of
months
goes along with
behind.
that change, actually. If we're being
Yes.
completely honest, it goes along with that change. It's very hand in hand with that change in the sense of how the game operates. They
Yes.
got rid of not being able to do relics at lower stars and then implemented this change. So now it's not like you're not totally getting screwed just because your guys aren't starred. You're able to relic them. Like,
Yeah.
oh, my guy's not 7-star. I can't relic them. Now I'm really hosed. And they're like, no, 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 you can relic them to a certain degree to keep that from happening.
Yeah.
So they kind of go hand in hand. Um, but also, I think a lot of people forget that nobody's trying to hose the player base. Nobody cares about. They're not worried about like, oh, let's see if we can screw them over. And I've seen a lot of comments like that where they're like, oh, let's just see if we can, how much shit these guys will take from us. That's not what any company is doing, in my opinion, at least. That's not what any company is doing. Companies are trying to make money, and companies are trying to, obviously, with every the thing with capitalism, right, is every year you have to show profits, and you have to figure out a way to show profits every year. And so they are trying to figure out a way, whoever is making decisions, they are trying to figure out a way to increase their profits for this game so that they can keep the lights on for the game without having to like beg and barter from like, oh, and beg like the company, like, oh, please don't shut our game down.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is somebody came up with this. And to your point, this isn't like a like, oh, hey, let's go ahead and implement this thing. You guys start doing it. It probably was like a year out or so. And you know who else did it? MSF did it.
Yeah.
And so they
No,
do pay attention to
unsuccessfully.
what other games are
You
doing
know?
unsuccessfully, but they probably saw that they were doing that. And so then they started working on it. And now they're trying to minimize the damage from what's going to happen because they see what happened to MSF. So they're like, oh shit, we don't want that to happen to our game.
Yeah.
Like, because again, they probably started working on it around the same time. They're probably buddies. Like, honestly, like
I'm
they,
sure
they
there
might
are.
even know the other guys. Yeah, they might even know the other guys. And they're like, hey, we're working on this thing. They're like, oh, that's a great idea. We should implement something like that.
I
And
think the
then
other
now it
thing
bombed. And now they're like, oh shit.
the other thing to keep in mind, and this has to do with like the capitalism of it, is CG Capital Games. I don't know the exact number of employees there, but I think on their website it looks to be about like 25 to 30 people that work there. Um, the majority of those people, like you have your sound designers, you have Meathead, right? Your community manager, you have the people who are your graphic designers, you have your people who are the coders. These are people that do want to make a great game. And then you probably you have a couple corporate suits who are like, how do we monetize this to the
Mhm.
max, right? Um, and that's true of anything in this space, that there are, of course, definitely people who are paid to say, how can we maximize our profit here? And sometimes that does screw over the player base, but nobody's saying we are definitely screwing over the player base, because if you're on that place and saying we're going to really fuck them, you know that your money is dropping. So their goal is, how do we get and look, I'm going to be a little bit conspiracy theorist here, but just in general, their goal is, how can we sap as much money as possible without them being mad enough to quit? But that's not the whole company. That's, there's going to be a couple people in the meeting say, no, we're going to start working towards this. And right now it's us figuring that out. And when it comes to the beta, for players who are newer to the game, about 4 years ago, I think it's 4 years ago, Datacrons came to the game, and everyone hated Datacrons. Before Datacrons
For good
came to the
reason.
game, yeah, they definitely sucked at first. I don't hate them as much now, except fucking DS Raycron needs to be gone. Um,
Yeah. I'll be happy
before
when that one's gone. I can tell you that.
before Datacrons came
And
to
the
the game,
Hodacron, to be honest.
uh,
But
it
you can
has
continue.
been
Yeah.
before Datacrons came to the game, there was a beta testing program, and I know people who were in there, um, and it was leaked ahead of time from the beta test. Like, hey, this is coming to the game. Somebody in that beta program was like, listen, we are not happy about this. This is going to destroy the game, so we're going to leak it and get people mad so that hopefully this thing doesn't happen. And what ends up happening? Datacrons still come to the game,
Mhm.
and the beta test program is shut down, right? EA shut down their Game Changer program. Now, I'm going to give you some insider information here that I specifically asked Meathead if I could post. Like, I didn't ask EA. I was like, Meathead, can I say this? Can I please say this? And he was like, I don't really need credit. Like, you do what you think is best. Like, I'm giving you permission to say it, but like, you don't have to say anything like this. When we were in our initial pre-beta meetings to figure this out, to figure out how we were going to do the beta, um, they had said, and Meathead had kind of said, and the other people involved had said, like, Meathead fought tooth and nail, like really fought super hard to bring this beta test back. Like, he put himself out on the line to really get people involved with testing this. And Meathead was not part of the team for Swugga when this Datacron leak happened. I don't know if he worked for EA. I have no idea. But he really pushed. He's like, no, we have to like start rebuilding this relationship. And his hope is like, I really want this beta to go well. And by go well, I hope he means like that nobody leaks anything and everybody does this in good faith. Not necessarily that it's a dumpster fire and everyone shits on it, but like that at the very least, nobody leaks information they're not allowed to, and that it helps us build the best product that we can so that he can expand that team, the beta team,
Yeah,
and like the people
based on his
involved with
job,
it.
I would assume. Based on his job, I would assume that's what he means, right?
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
I like the guy. I've chatted with the guy a lot. He is a very nice guy. He is a gamer. He does stream late nights typically, so I don't catch them a lot, but I do stop in and I chat with him every once in a while. Um, we have this thing where like once a week I'll ask him a really weird question and wait for his answer, um and he'll like monkey paw me and come up with some insane answer. Um, but like I just feel like the credit that he gets is not enough. And I saw like on Reddit someone was like, should Meathead be fired because of this? And like he's just the messenger. He's the one that really tried to get us involved. And like he's the reason that everyone's shitting on this right now instead of it just coming to the game and us shitting on it live. You know? So
yeah,
you
yeah,
gotta
I
cut him
agree.
some slack and really just appreciate that at the least, because that is what's giving us this opportunity to say, no, 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 this is not working. We have to fix this a little bit.
Well, everybody always wants to shoot the messenger, right? I
Yeah.
mean, they do. Everybody always wants to shoot the messenger. Meathead didn't design this. Meathead didn't. I didn't realize Meathead was like essentially the PR person at first.
Yeah.
But you guys also forget all those free shards you get from Scribe and Arnold and all those guys. You only get those because of Meathead.
Yes.
Like you only get those free. The only reason they get to do those giveaways is because of Meathead. Like
Yes.
I mean, like I did a giveaway on my stream. I didn't get to give away free stuff. Like it's it's like I had to like if I'm giving something away, I'm paying for it. Like
Yeah.
you're getting something from me, not from the game. I'm giving you something. But for those guys, like Meathead is sponsoring that. Like he is essentially the one saying, "Yes, you can give away this stuff for our game." Stuff
Yes.
like that. I mean, from what I've seen from the guy does an amazing job. He's usually very transparent with giving away information that he's allowed to give away, and I say that very specifically because obviously you can't always give away information, like the company doesn't want you to. So if it's like, oh well, Meathead didn't tell us, that's because Meathead wasn't allowed to tell you. Like he
Yeah.
has a job, he has people he reports to, and if he tells you, he loses his job.
Yes.
So
Yes. And that's why I joke, like, if I talk with him, he'll chat with me for hours. And then if I ask him one thing about Swugga, he'll just bounce. He'll ghost me. Because he knows that he can't give me that information. And I know that he can't give me that information, but I try every once in a while to get something. Um, that,
yeah, I mean,
and I,
obviously, yeah, I mean, we all want info, right? So
yeah. And I'll say to him sometimes, like, I know you probably can't answer this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, and hope that you can answer this question. And every once in a while, it'll cause an update post, and I'll go, oh, I just asked him that question 2 hours ago, and now it's a post. Um, so every once in a while something goes good, but yeah, I mean, he is great at his job, and he does very well for the community, and his job is really just to get the information out that he is allowed to get out, which is not a lot of the time. But he is someone that I will go to bat for and defend because he doesn't have anything to do with difficult practices. He is, again, the one who brought us in and said, hey, I'm going to put trust in you guys, to do this in earnest, and that has meant that a lot of us are shitting on this update, which is fair because there's a lot of really shitty things in it. But he hasn't tried to stop any of us. He hasn't said to me like, hey, can you go easier on us? He hasn't, like, he's just, this is how it is. And our update notes that he did say we were allowed to share, like, there were a lot of references to like, okay, we see the reception to this. Here's why we did this thing. It was necessary for this reason. Now we have the data we need. We're going to make this change. Here's why we're making this change. And we're going to see how this next phase goes. And I don't know how long the beta is going to be, but I do expect several more rounds of changes at the very least.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think in general, oh yeah, so Silky one though, do you know what was the main reason for the Relic Delta? Do you even know that? I can't
We
imagine you
don't
even
know
have that
that
info.
that
Yeah.
that comes down to that's what I'm pushing for. And I'm pushing for it to be public, because they might come back and say, okay, we want you guys to know the thing, but you can't share this thing. I don't know. But I have really been pushing to get that to be public information so that I understand and so that everyone else understands, right? Because I've been reading on Discord. I don't know how much you've been reading on Discord. I know that there are CG devs on my Discord, right? Like I'm very aware of that. And I have and they've seen the posts and I've seen the posts and everyone's trying to solve these different problems. And they're saying, oh, well, why don't they just release Relic 10? And why don't they just release Mod 7? And why don't they do this thing? You're all trying to solve a problem, but we don't know what the problem is. So like you're solving a problem that may not be the problem they're trying to solve right now. We need to know what the problem is so that we can understand the context so that we can solve the problem.
Yeah, from my point of view, again, and I'm just going to reiterate what my thought is that um another game did this thing and it's a similar game to us. We're going to do this thing. Is kind of how it comes off to me. And it happens all the time in games. Um Again, I played a lot of Call of Duty, a lot of Warzone, and I've seen it a ton where another competitor, and you'll see it with movies and stuff too, right? And it's really weird, right? Like you'll see like um, Friends with Benefits, No Strings Attached, like
Which
those
is
two movies come out
there's like
at
a
the exact
whole
same time.
thing. Like two of
Yeah,
my
it's
favorites,
like how did we get the
Volcano.
same movie? How did we get the same movie at the same time? Like what? How did that even happen?
I
And that's
remembered
all it
reading an
is people talking
article
to each other.
about that, and like every year there are like two movies, and my favorite one is Volcano and Dante's Peak, right? Two very specific volcano movies that came, and volcano movies don't come out very often, that very specifically came out in the same year. And then like you said, like Friends with Benefits, and the other one, No Strings Attached. If you look into it, every year there are like these two movies that are literally the exact same thing. um, and that is, there's small circles that you run in with lots of with lots of overlap.
Yeah, and the point of that, guys, is we're not talking about movies, but the point of that is that um it's going to be the same with the game world. So like this game that's very similar, and I wouldn't compare it to like Raid, because it's Raid is kind of in its own little realm. Obviously it's the same type of game, but it's not the same. But MSF is very similar to this game
Yes.
and how you farm for things and how you get like these legendary characters or whatever, galactic legends in our case. It's a very very similar game. Um, and so things are going to bleed over from one game to the other. And I think, in my opinion, it was, hey, this thing's being implemented, and it's like, oh, that's a good idea. Um, because on paper it doesn't really sound that bad, to a game developer. To us,
Yeah.
obviously playing the game all the time, it sounds horrible, right? Um, like I'm not gonna, like I just said, I'm not gonna. My Malicos is gonna be completely useless if this goes live. When this goes live, I mean, I'm gonna have to. He's not, because I'm gonna relic him, but in his current state, completely useless. Whereas, and I think that's also an issue for the game devs too, though. Is that, in their opinion, I shouldn't be able to win with that team.
Yeah.
And to a degree, they're right. To a degree, they are correct. I shouldn't be able to win that with that team, and it shouldn't happen. Um, Somebody just said a little while ago, like Night Sisters versus Jabba, um, Phoenix versus Riva, stuff like that, where it's like you don't even need a big investment into these teams, like the Phoenix team, to beat
Yeah.
a Riva team. It's like Yeah, you threw an Omicron on
Captain Rex, yeah.
Captain Rex, but I threw 3 Omicrons on Riva, and I spent 13 months grinding for her because it's a guild event.
Yeah.
Um, Stuff like that. It's like, so it does fix some of those disparities, or it makes it to where it's like you have to invest more into those teams. You can't just go in with them at lower tiers and take out these huge investments that people are putting into these characters. So that could be part of it as well. They're trying to kill some of the disparity in that sense, and that's, how do you do that without doing something like this?
Without pissing people off. I
Yeah.
again, I'll go back to Fatal because I know Jack Daniels is kind of asking about this, and you bring it up with the Malicos team and everything. Um, Fatal has been doing a lot of testing. Again, so much more than I have been able to do. I had a conversation where I was saying I have done a lot of the question asking. He has done a lot of the testing. I haven't been able to test the Gungans because there was an issue that is now fixed, and now I get to test my favorite team. So I get to do that later today. But from Fatal's testing, a lot of the counters that he is trying are still working at 2 to 3 Relic Delta out, right? So he's been doing a lot of R6 to R9 testing. And his counters are still working at that point. So that might mean that no, your R2 Zori isn't going to be an R9 Ahsoka anymore. But if you put a small amount of investment in there, it's still going to work pretty reasonably out. I was doing yesterday morning, I tried SLKR versus Jabba, and at 2 relics out, it was working amazing. At 3 relics out, I was still winning most of the time. And at 4 relics out, I was having a hard time, but also still winning. And unlike
That
Fatal,
was with Night Sisters, you said?
no, so I was doing SLKR versus Jabba, but
Oh,
I just
SLKR.
mean just in
Gotcha.
terms of like testing counters at different levels. And I know Fatal's mods Jack Daniels, but I'm gonna tell you from my understanding of Fatal that he is someone who has been moving mods around and trying different things to like see if
Mm.
things will still reasonably work without having the most A level mods. He is someone who is really fundamentally like trying his best to make this work for all players. So he has been like kind of things in, moving things out, playing with this. Let's try a defense set. Let's try this set. Let's bring down speeds. Let's bring this up. Because obviously, you're right. We are playing with our own accounts. We imported our own accounts. We have our own
Gotcha.
mods. Um,
I didn't know about that. Yeah, so I
yeah.
didn't know exactly how it worked. Yeah, that's good
But
to know. Because I just
CG,
told him, not sure he has his mods, but
yeah.
it's good to know he does have his mods. So
And then I know Meathead gave me another account because like it was lower down than my account. But then the devs have also been great about like, hey, do you need to lower your relics? Great, let us know. We'll drop your entire account to these relic levels, to be able to accommodate for different things. Um, I will firmly, and Fatal and we went to blows years ago because I was not as positive a person. Um, so we've had friendly conversations in the more near present now, as I'm not such a shitbag anymore. He is someone that really, really, really is taking this seriously to make this work in a recognition of understanding that nobody wants this, and making it as equitable as possibly can for as many people as we possibly can. And he will, of course, tell you too that even though these counters are working at certain levels, that he still is not happy with the levels that things are at. And we're all fighting for it. That's the thing, is there's things we've all said, and we maybe can't share right now, and we're hoping we'll be able to share. But he has really taken this seriously to go to bat, for the player base.
Yeah, man, that's tough. Like to being a complete Vance.
Yeah.
uh,
I look,
I don't know.
I was. Yeah.
I feel like, in general, people grow and change and stuff like that. I tell people all the time, I wasn't always. Actually, I mean, honestly, if you guys had known me 15 years ago, you'd have been like, fuck this guy, dude.
Of course.
This guy's an asshole. This guy's a fucking asshole, bro. And I was. But people grow and change, you know? I mean, so it's like in that regard. So, but yeah, I mean, some people were complete Vances. I mean, I don't know Vance well enough, but I talked to him the other night when we were doing that Borderlands stream.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
um,
that was McClunky. That wasn't Vance. He just
oh, I thought that
likes.
was Vance. Oh, you
No,
were
no, no.
talking about Vance. That's what it
Yeah,
was. You
yeah,
mentioned
yeah,
Vance. You mentioned
yeah.
Vance. That's right.
Um,
That's right. That's McClunky. Yeah. Any order GAC matchmaking will be fixed. If not, ties back to me quitting. Um, so so this is one of those things, man. So when you say you're just talking in regards to matchmaking in general, not with relic deltas. And I
yeah.
agree
He's just
that
talking about GAC.
something needs to happen with matchmaking. I 100% agree, man. I mean, so I have, just so for anybody who doesn't usually watch me, I have 3 accounts. I've got my main account. Um, my two alts suffer obviously because I really just use them to play on stream most of the time. When I'm done on my main,
Yeah.
just so I have stuff to do while I talk to chat. Um, the middle account is like a 3 million account. Just got Executor. It's in Carbonite 2. Probably won't be leaving Carbonite 2 anytime soon because for anybody that's newer to the game or in Carbonite, you know that all your opponents have 8 GLs and they do attack. And
Yeah.
they do attack. Um, and my lowest account, my littlest account, is going to be the same way. So GAC matchmaking is fucked. Just if anybody's curious, and is what he's referring to, and it's really bad at lower levels. It's really bad at lower levels. At higher levels, obviously, I'm only in Erodium, but I can tell you in Bronzium and in Chrome or Bronzium and in Carbonite, matchmaking's fucked. It's completely fucked.
Yes.
In Erodium on my main account, I don't have any issues, honestly, because I have enough stuff that even if somebody out GLs me by,
You're able to.
yeah, I'm able to still do stuff. Like I can still off meta counter people and stuff like that. But with this new Relic Delta coming out, obviously that's going to completely change. Um, those accounts are honestly going to probably leave Erodium just because they have so many relics. Like they will stop losing to me. Um, simply just because they have higher relics than me. And it'll honestly kind of even out Erodium and more than likely. Which is good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter to me because again, it's it's already kind of screwed anyways. And that's why I tell people like GAC is cool. If you want to have fun playing this game though, figure something else out.
It depends. I've said this more recently, right? Like I don't really enjoy GAC on my account. I have everything. Everybody that I play against has everything. It's like that Kyber 2-to-1 border where it's really just we all have everything, and sometimes that counter works and sometimes it doesn't, you know, and you just throw shit at the wall and hope for the best. I have been, you know, playing with this one guy who is a newer account. He is in Chromium, and I've been helping him strategize his GACs. And I will stipulate he will stipulate too. He's a very big spender, which is how he's there so quickly. And I've been enjoying helping him with his GACs because he has, well, as of this week, he has 3 GLs. He had 2 GLs up until now. And we go up against like 8 GL accounts. And I have to figure out how can I get this 2 to 3 GL account to win, even though he spends a lot more money. It's such a new account that I have to figure out how to get it to do things that it shouldn't be able to do. And I feel like I'm constantly saying to him in messages like, if this guy scouts you, you're fucked. If your opponent feels like he wants to change his defense, you're fucked. But if he doesn't, here's what we're going to do. And here's what we're going to try. And we win most of the matches. And yeah, he's got great mods. And yeah, he advances a lot faster than other people. But it's been a lot of fun because I have to actually plan a strategy, not just say, all right, well, we're going to just throw my shit at that shit, and it's the same shit, and it's the same thing I've been playing against every single week for the last year and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, on my Erodium account, it's fun. I have fun with GAC. I haven't been thrown up into Kyber 1 on accident, so like Jack was saying, that hasn't happened to me yet. That wouldn't be a fun week for me. But if it did happen, I mean, I would just take it in stride. I mean, I get that there's bugs in every game.
Yeah.
Should that get resolved? Probably. My guess is it's not resolved because there's underlying issues with the coding. I don't think that they don't fix things because they don't want to. I think they don't fix things because sometimes they can't. Because there's an overarching issue, and if they fix it,
Hmm.
it breaks something else. And I think that's why
Yes.
some things don't get fixed, that we are like, why aren't you fixing this? Why aren't you fixing this? Why aren't you fixing this? For anybody who's done coding, and I don't code a lot. I do a lot of scripting. So I don't do a lot of programming. I do a lot of scripting. And I can tell you when you get something down, if something breaks and it's like, that sucks, but I can't really fix it because of the way I did this in general. That happens sometimes.
And you're talking about
Um,
like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lines of code of just like, and calls and responds, and like this thing connects to that thing. And if I change it here, it's going to screw up 18 things over there. And it can take a long time to figure that out.
and that happens from an old game, Hugsy. I mean, that's going to happen from an old game, right? I mean, it's because, like you said, it's extremely old. So, I mean, there's so many updates that have been added, and there's so many people, and I'm sure they've gone through so many different devs working on this, and people having different ideas of how you code and how you do. Like, if you could talk to 5 coders, and they would all tell you that the other one does it wrong.
Yeah.
And, um, even though they're doing the exact same thing, they don't like the way other people do things, and so then it will end up being spaghetti. It really will be. I mean, it will. It'll be, and that's what it'll look like when you get different iterations and different people coming in doing things. Um, and I agree, Jack. That's part of the reason I also think it's bad. Anytime you're doing something that touches the entire game, you have the potential for breaking your game, beyond players quitting. And I think that's part of the reason they're doing so much testing. And I think that was the reason that they were so willing to let content creators come test it out, is because they realize, like with Rogue One, for instance, right? Like if you read the original update for Rogue, like the initial release for the Rogue One ship, they were pretty confident that it was going to beat Executor, and it was impossible to beat Leviathan.
Yeah.
That it wasn't going to change that at all. Um, they don't they don't play the game the same way we do when they're testing these things. We're playing the game to win. We're playing the game
Yes.
to destroy people. So we're gonna throw a lot of different shit. When I was watching Scribe, I was like, what the fuck is he doing with Scimitar on his Profundity fleet? Like, what is this stuff? Like, what who? And then it's like, oh shit, that wins like 99% of the time. Like what? Like
It's a whole
what?
different level. It really,
Yeah.
really, really is. And they can test. I'm not going to tell you that they don't test because I'm sure they do, but they cannot outsource the amount of testing that we do, because once it comes to us, there are thousands of people trying to break it instead of like two people. Um, if you I feel like I come back to this a lot, and I've said this a lot over the last couple months. There's a show on Apple Plus, Mythic Quest. Have you seen it?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
So
right.
good,
So
man.
Mythic Quest, I know it's a caricature. I know it's like meant to be funny. I know it's not a real representation. But like if you
I
think
mean, I
about
can't
it,
imagine
like
it's not. I can't imagine it's not,
I'm
dude.
sure
To a degree.
to some extent, right? Like it's
Yeah.
an inflated version of the reality. But like you look at Mythic Quest, this big MMO, and what is their testing? It's these two girls on a couch sitting there like playing the game. It's not 5,000 people in a room testing the game. It's a couple of people. And if they had a QA department that was hundreds of people, then the prices of everything in this game increase. So it comes down to a cost basis and a cost analysis. And that kind of is where this Datacron leak really fucked people over, because it was like, nope, we're done with the betas. Beta's gone. So now things can't be tested by the people most willing to sit in there on the minutia. Um,
Yeah, but the testers guys, so like Egg was just saying, like, so it when you have people testing, like he said, I even if they had to, apparently they don't, they can't test argument from CG according to Jack.
yeah.
I'm sure that's been stated somewhere for you to say that because I haven't. I don't keep up with enough information to say whether or not that's true. But even if they have testers, again, they're going to only have a couple testers, and testers, honestly, I don't think they make a ton of money.
No.
So, unless they just have an absolute love for the game, it's going to get tested, and they're just going to go, "Yep, it works exactly the way you want it to work."
And
They're going to do
let's
bare
be
minimum
real.
stuff.
When it comes down to testing, this is not the only game that has, like, every game. I'm not saying it's right, but like we look at this in this weird vacuum of like, this is the only broken game. Every game has bugs that release on every patch. Every fucking game, every piece of software releases with some kind of bugs, and it is a problem right now. It's a big problem. It's not a Swugga problem. It's an industry problem. Nothing is releasing, and you're like, wow, everything's working. But the other part of it is that the things that are releasing in this game, it's not that the code itself is broken. Now, again, like the Hondo era battle, that should have been figured out. That was like a silly issue. But they fixed it and they ran the new era battle 2 days later. It was fixed. When it comes to something like a character kit or a ship kit, you have to figure out how that kit interacts with 300 other kits, and you don't, there's no testing manpower available, like, to even consider that. A great example I have of this is Mercenary Omega, and how she first turn allowed Nihilist to have all of his cooldowns down and annihilate, and everyone's like, how didn't you not test this? Nobody at CG was going, we're going to use Omega, who is a light side Bad Batch, with a Sith team. And eventually, even when it comes down to, oh shit, this sucks, that's still in the game. Why? Because nobody uses it, right? The only people that use that are the people who only have Omega, and it still dumbs down the team overall. So like everyone's like, this is so broken, and like, how did they do this? It was a weird interaction we found, and they decided to keep it in the game because it wasn't actually doing anything bad.
Yeah. I agree, Pokey. That's kind of what I think that's what we were saying. I was just looking. I haven't been watching your YouTube chat. I was just looking over at YouTube.
Yep.
Um, Focus. Does this break the game or not? I agree, Pokey. That's essentially the job of a tester. Isn't to say, oh, this isn't good for the game. Their job is to say, did this break the game? That's a tester's job. Hey, because they're not in charge of what direction are you trying to take this game in? What are you trying to do with this? They're just saying, are there bugs with this? Is it going to break the game? Um, and even then, sometimes they're limited even then on what, because they're testing it in a vacuum for what they were told to test it in. So
Yeah.
it might even break other stuff because they weren't testing that. They weren't testing it in some of these other scenarios, you know?
Yeah. That's, basically what's happening. And I will say, when it comes to like Rogue One, it's not that Rogue One is broken. It's just because the kit works. And that's what we're saying, right? The kit works. It is doing some things that we didn't think that kit would be able to do. But I am also going to say, and I've said this before, when it comes to the beta test that is going on now, I literally was in the process of setting up my mic. Like I was moving my mic handle over, and I was getting my headphones out because I was getting ready to film a like a 20-minute video on how I felt Rogue One was just a lazy ship, since it can be a gear 1 and never be called, and it beats I've had people. I had a friend test it with his profundity against Executor, and his profundity is 5 stars, and I said, please do not call Rogue One, leave it in the reinforcements. And he's like, yeah, that was the easiest battle in the world. And that to me is like really lazy, that it's just like, no, you put it in, you don't even have to worry about it, you don't have to upgrade it, you don't have to do anything with it. And I was getting
Well, you
ready
have
to
to upgrade
film
the
this.
reinforcement.
You have to upgrade the ability,
but
but you can do that at
Yeah.
level 1.
Yeah, because of that update we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. I was literally about to hit start recording when Meathead was like, hey, I just did the post, you're allowed to talk about it now. And I was like, oh shit, this sounds way more exciting. Like, I'm going live like right now, and I've completely ignored doing this Rogue One video because I'm like, there's way more important things to be talking about right now.
Exec is C tier. Yeah, I don't know. So the thing is, they're going to be working on, because they want Leviathan to be the king, right?
Yeah.
That's their goal. Their goal is Leviathan is king. So they're going to fix Profundity beating Leviathan.
I actually
more
low-key
than
hope that they
likely.
don't.
I also hope, well, I mean, it's not like you put the ship in and you beat Leviathan. That is not how it works, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
You put the ship in, you beat Executor. It is not you put the ship in, you beat Leviathan. And my fleet shard, I was talking to them about it, and so far those guys haven't got it to work. In my fleet shard, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about, Burm. This doesn't work. And then one guy's like, oh, I got it to work, but most of the time I lose. So we're watching streamers do it. We're watching people who are playing at a high level do these things and assuming one second.
That it translates to everybody.
Assuming that it translates to everybody. Exactly. And it does not translate to everybody. That's like when you see people using like some of these counters and stuff, and you're like, oh, that's a great counter, I'm gonna go do that. And then you lose, you know?
Yes. So like a great example is Gerbil is beating Hondo with his R9 Ewoks. You know, like he's like, look, my Ewoks can beat Hondo. Yours can. Not everybody's can, because you are insane, and that's what you chose to do for fun.
Well, yeah, also it's like, to beat this, like actually in Scribe's channel, funnily enough, in Scribe's channel, they were like, here are, somebody was like watching, and I guess they like wrote down everything he did when he won. He's like, here are all the abilities used in the order that you used them, and in the ships that went in turn order. It was crazy. Somebody was paying that much attention, but and I was like, that might be what it has to be, like in the raid, right? In the Order 66 raid, you have to be very specific. And I tell people that all the time with the Order 66 raid. I'm in a lower guild on my alt, and they're like, I can't get it to work. I'm like, well, that's because you're just attacking. You're just attacking, and you can't just attack. Like, you have to go watch this. I need you to go watch. If you want to do this, I need you to go watch this video on how to do it, because you have to attack this guy, and then you have to attack this other guy, and you gotta go back to this guy, and then you have to go to this other guy.
And you have to hope this thing happens, and it's a whole thing.
Yep. The other day, somebody's like, hey, why are you restarting so much? Like, why do we keep restarting this raid? And I'm like, oh, he didn't get stunned. Or they're like, oh, well, he got stunned that time. Why did you restart? I'm like, well, my DCT didn't assist. And they're like, oh, your DCT assisted. Why did you restart? I'm like, well, he has to assist the second time.
It's those
if he doesn't
3
assist
points,
the second time. Yeah. I was like, there's 3 things that have to happen at the very beginning, or I lose. And I was like, I've played it through enough to know that I am actually going to lose. Like, I was like, no, there's no way. I still have a chance, right? No, you don't have a chance.
No.
And I was like, I've played it enough times to know.
There's the 3 RNG points there, and it is like the first 4 or 5 times I did it, I would watch the video like as I was doing it, and now it's just a sequence of events in my head where I'm going, okay, I know what the sequence is. Oh shit, didn't work. Know what the sequence is. Oh shit, it didn't work.
Yeah, it took me a while, but I finally got down the RNG, and then I got down the turn order is super important as well, and paying
Hmm.
attention. Like once you kill everybody except for Fox, I think it is, or Oppo. Oppo. Once you kill
Whichever,
everybody except
they
Oppo,
all look the same
the
to
one on the
me.
right.
The one on
Yeah,
the
the one on
right
the
is
right.
what I say.
Yeah. Once he's the last one left, then I pull up my turn order, and that's when I have to actually pay attention.
And
But it's the
figure
same
out, yeah.
thing. The point was that this is the same thing with the ships, right? Um, in the sense of like with Rogue One, like yes, you can throw it into profundity, and you can win against um Leviathan. Not everybody's going to do that, and in fact, I'd be willing to say the majority of people aren't going to do it. So, is it going to get fixed? It might, because the people beating it are very prevalent in the content creation world and are making it very well known that it happens. Will it get fixed? It might. It might, because again, they want Leviathan to be king. They don't actually want Profundity beating Leviathan because of this ship. They don't. And I know that I don't know that 100%, but that's my guess because of the statements that they've made publicly. Um, but again, it's not everybody's not doing it.
Yeah.
Like I can't beat R7 Executor with my R5 Executor. And I was talking to Scribe about it. He's like, watch my video. I'm like, I did. It's a skill issue, bro. Like,
I'm just not good enough.
yeah.
And then they did say they said, hey, we're investigating it, but right now we're not going to hotfix it, right? Like we're not planning to hotfix it, which seems that they're, when I see that, that tells me they're looking at win rates. They want to see if it's enough of an issue where is it worth it or not. But at the same time, a lot of these off meta things, they are using ships from other fleets. So you're making a choice. You're going, do I do this or do I do that, right? Home one with bounty hunters. You either don't have Executor, which is very low end, or you're saying, I'm not using Executor at all. So you have to choose what you're going to do at that point. But I will say that what I hope they do is that they do not fix it and they release a new lifter for Leviathan, because I hate that fleet mission on day 2 of TB that still is not completable in any reliable sense of the word. And I just need a ship that makes that stupid battle reliable to win, because it really pisses me off.
Yeah. That'd be nice to get a lifter rather than just having a hot fix for Rogue One. I agree. Um, I personally would like to just have a new fleet. I don't even like ships that much. I never liked ships that much, but I've grown to like them more. The other day when I beat Executor with I one shot Executor with Executrix, I was like, this is nice. This is
It feels
nice.
good, right?
Like it feels so good. Like I threw my Leviathan on defense and I was like, all this guy has is an Executor. If he puts it on defense, I think I'm gonna win. I don't think this guy beats me. I was like, because not very many people, a lot of people, and I think this is where the back to what we were talking about with these weird off meta counters, right? Even with just normal counters, like my Leviathan beats Executor all the time on defense.
Yeah.
All the time on defense. I mean, I don't know why, but like people will be like, oh, they have Executor, they're just gonna beat your Leviathan if you put it on D. And I'm like, maybe,
But not everybody
maybe. I mean,
knows how to do that. Not
and
everybody
even when
watches
people do know how to
videos.
do it, they don't click all the right buttons, and they don't, because there's certain things you have to do at certain times for these things to work. Some people have it down, some people don't.
And I'm too
And I get
stupid.
holds all the time. Yeah, and sometimes it's a skill issue. Like I said, I can't beat. Should I be able to beat an Executor with my 5-star? Yeah, I should. I watch tons of videos on how to do it. I do all the same stuff. At least I feel like I am, and I just lose. So it's like it's a skill issue, man. It really is. And it's like other people have these skill issues as well. And I think that we're just so used to watching people destroy with these off meta things and with these other things that we're like, oh, it's broken, it's broken, it's broken. And it's like, go look at the win rates though. Go look at the win rates. And that's what CG is looking at.
Yeah, I've joked with Bit Dynasty. I reached out to him a few weeks ago, and I was like, man, I think I'm responsible for half of your ad revenue on your fleet counters videos, because every single GAC I pull them, every single GAC, because I cannot remember that shit. So if I see an executor on defense, and now it's not going to matter because no one's putting executor on defense and I have profundity. But if I see executor on defense, I go, all right, well, I guess I have to pull up that Bit Dynasty video again and I have to follow along with it again because I am not going to retain this information.
Yeah. By the way, somebody said they came just for your voice, man. Look at that.
I think it's your voice. That's C squared. That's who you were chatting with when we were playing Borderlands. I
Never
think,
mind. Okay.
can we all
Oh,
agree,
I thought he was.
guys? Chat, please, between YouTube and Twitch and Burm's viewers. I don't particularly think I have a bad voice. I don't think I have a radio voice, and Twitch is kind of like radio, right? I have told Burm a couple times over the last few weeks that he has one of the sexiest like radio voices that you could possibly have, and I would kill to sound like that and have that like deep bass, be like, "Good morning, everybody." I can't do it.
Good morning.
It's just like this
Yeah.
great ASMR of just like, damn, that's so comforting. And I don't know. I've been
I
trying
didn't
to.
realize who that was. Yeah, I didn't realize who that was. So yeah, I didn't know.
You're gonna start getting in these comments here. Yeah, H. John Benjamin. Exactly. It very much is an H. John Benjamin voice.
By the way, if you guys want, and I'm assuming I can plug my stuff,
You can
right?
plug whatever you want, man.
Cool.
I
Yeah,
just plugged your voice.
I do
Like, come
have
on,
a YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel, guys.
put it in chat.
I only have
I don't care.
I only have the one video. Well, no, I have a couple videos. So I do, and if you don't like AI, you know what? I don't care. But I do have I make music with Suno sometimes, the AI music maker thing. I write all the lyrics to the songs and I just put it in there and then hope it gives me something worthwhile. But this is, and then I do have a couple videos as well. The last one I put on was just plug it in. The last one I put in, the last video I did was just about essentially like doing stuff for your own account. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I do
wait, it's not
agree.
Scribe.
I think that you should just dress up like Scribe for Halloween.
You know, I should. I'll get one
I
of
think you
his.
could do it.
I probably could do it. I was told that I'm like the American version of Scribe. Like that's why I keep calling him my bald buddy.
Yeah, there's a couple in the community. There's just like this bald kings thing that's going on in the Swuggo community. I might have to shave my head. I don't know if I'd look good bald, but because I can't grow. I feel like if you're bald, you need facial hair, and I can't grow facial hair, so I don't know if it'll work. I'll just look like a baby. So I think I
I
do
actually
need my hair.
completely agree with that. So it's really weird. So like sometimes I will grow my hair out, right? Because I do have hair. It's not.
Yeah,
It's I shave my head, guys, because not because I'm completely bald. I think Scribe is much more bald than I am. Um, I shave my head because for my own mental state. Because when I grow my hair out, it looks fine as long as I'm looking at the camera like this, right? But if I look at the camera like this, you can just see all through my hair,
yeah.
and I'm like, and then I see it, and I'm like, holy shit, yeah, that's coming off, and
If
that's
you're at
more what
that
it is.
point, you have to just embrace it.
Yeah. So I just embraced it. My dad didn't embrace it. He went and did a bunch of stuff with his hair, and I was like, I will never do that. Um, after learning his lesson, and but anyway, the point was, if I grow hair on my head, I shave my beard, and when I shave my head, I grow my beard.
Yeah, you can't have
So
both. It
no.
doesn't work. You need the facial hair if you're going bald. I would try like I don't. I during COVID I tried to grow out my hair. I was like, let me just see. Back in the beginning of COVID when we didn't know how long it was going to last, and I was like, all right, I'm going to keep my facial hair going for until COVID is over. And about 3 months in, I looked like a French art thief. And I was like, no, I can't, I can't do this anymore. And my wife was complaining. She's like, no, you kiss me and it's weird and fuzzy and I don't like it. So I stopped that experiment real quick, and I
That's why
elected.
that's why my mustache is I let it stay this morning just for the stream, honestly. Um, but usually I look like I'm Amish or something, because my wife doesn't like the beard, or
Yeah,
the not the beard, the
the
mustache.
mustache.
She doesn't like the mustache. Yeah. So I usually keep that shaved
And
just
then
for the
it's the
sake of my marriage.
mustache the mustache without a beard, right? To me, if you have a mustache without a beard, you're either a state trooper, a pedophile, or you are a bartender at like a mixologist place and you've got like steampunk goggles on and you're like a carny. It's one of those three things, mustache
I
without a
think
beard.
one of those or the Navy, not just the military, but
Specifically the Navy.
specifically the Navy. Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
think about because my family, everybody pretty much was in the military, and they were in the Navy, and that's just what I think of, because you can't have a beard, but you can have a mustache. So a lot of people in the
We'll
military
just
do
have the
the
mustache.
mustache.
And you have
Yeah.
like the thing facing down, kind of like Top Gun. I can get behind that.
Xander says, so Egg likes Burm, Scribe, and Bit. Is it because in his eyes they remind him of his eggy self?
Yeah, I'm a big
I
fan.
don't know.
I am. I mean, yeah. I have made some friends in the content creation sphere in the game, and you know, Berm is someone who I talk to probably more than anyone else. And during the summer, like we've talked about this before, we were playing a lot of Heroes of the Storm just for fun. We didn't get to talk a lot though because I stream from my wife's office, so like she would be working in the background. I'd be like, no, I can't go on voice, but you know, I can play. I guess I could have gone on voice and you could have told me things, but I wouldn't have been able to like communicate back to you. Um,
You know, I didn't even think about that, because that
like
would have been a
I
lot easier,
guess I
actually. I
guess
didn't
we
even think
could have
about
done
that.
that.
Yeah, that would have still been easier. I mean, it doesn't matter. We weren't taking it that seriously anyway, so
No,
it's not,
no, no,
it's
no.
not that big of a deal.
We were just playing for the
It's
hell
not
of
that
it,
big of a deal.
and it was
Yeah.
fun. I enjoyed it, and I can't wait. Like when I have breaks, right? Those week-long breaks from school. That's when I like play games. Um, so I will probably end up doing that
Yeah.
again. Yeah, we play HOTS. I'm sure you were the same because you saw me playing it and you're like, oh shit, I want to download it again. It had been about 5 years since I had played it. Um, and I was just bored one day and I was like, you know what, let me download this again and play a few matches. And I kind of really got into it. And I was over the summer playing like 4 or 5 matches a day, just for the fun of it.
Oh, Sonic, hey, how's it going, man? I just saw you. Love this guy's voice, man. Which guy? Which guy's voice do you love? I like Egg's voice too, though.
The answer is just yes, right?
Um,
You just say which guy, yes.
yes, that is
Yes,
the
both.
correct answer, by the way. That way you don't hurt anybody's feelings. We don't need crying on stream, you
Oh,
know.
there can,
Unless that's
be
what you guys want to see. I don't know.
be a little crying. See,
Yes,
yes,
the
the
voice.
voice. Jinx. Um, all right, so
I thought it closed years ago. No, they stopped updating years
no,
ago.
yeah. But now it's on Game Pass, which is interesting. So a lot of players have jumped in, and it's been a lot more active than it used to be. And I'm kind of hoping that that is a catalyst for increasing stuff, because they didn't stop updating. There still have been balance patches, but they stopped developing new stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's a better way to
they've
put that. Yeah, when I said updating, I just meant like actively adding new
Yeah.
content.
So
Yeah.
there's been no new content, but like they'll still run events and they still are doing balance passes and like little things and changes. Um, but I mean, when it comes to the MOBA game scene, it is the one that I've enjoyed the most. I played League of Legends for years when it first came out because I hated myself. And because I had like a group of 4 or 5 players from when we played massive multiplayer games, and we would just go in and do like ARAMs and have fun and just be stupid and not like take it seriously. But I enjoyed HOTS a lot better because I played a lot of Blizzard games growing up, so those characters actually resonated with me. Where I'd go, man, I really loved this character, as opposed to like, who is this League of Legends character that I've never heard of before because they just made it up.
Well, there's also so much, man, there's just so much to League of Legends. First of all, the
Yeah,
minimum game is 45 minutes.
it's so
And
long.
then it's so long. And then it's like you have to know all the weapons and what the weapon every weapon does and how it can relate to each character in the game. And it's just insane the amount of knowledge that you need for that game. And then one player can steamroll and just win the game for everybody. And I hate that too.
Yeah. And, when you're talking about like a 45-minute minimum, I had games, and I haven't played that game in years, but I had games years and years ago where I had plenty of free time. and you'd get an hour and a half into a game and someone would be like, guys, I just gotta, I'm sorry, I gotta go. I thought that this game was only going to take me an hour and I allotted an hour to this, and that's what most games go to, and I gotta leave because I got an appointment. And you'd get so far into a game and someone just be like, nope, see ya. And it sucked because it was very unpredictable in its time. HOTS kind of developed mechanics with the quests to make it like, no, this game will end in a half hour. Maybe less, maybe much less. But if you go more than a half hour, that's because someone's stalling and you've already lost or you've already won.
Yeah. Oh, League. Yeah. Actually, it's funny because I've seen Aatrox a lot, and every time I see his name, I'm like, oh, he must play League.
I don't remember all
Uh,
the characters' names when I played League, but I did play. I resonated with the characters, and you probably see this like with my HOTS playing. Like I like Raynor, I like Butcher. I like characters that have unlimited growth potential because it's fun. You feel like you're constantly growing. So I used to play like Viger, Vigar, whatever his name is. I used to play Karthus, I think is the guy. I used to play the Egyptian god guy because they all had these unlimited growth mechanics that you could kind of use and abuse, and that was fun to me. Always
I've not even had
brunch.
my coffee yet.
Always brunch. Look at this. Ranger checking in. Always, yeah. It's not brunch time. It's 9 a.m. I have only had my one coffee. I haven't eaten at all. I
I've actually
don't.
only had one coffee too. Usually, I would have drank this and then already gotten another one. Not from the store, but I have an espresso machine. I would have went and made an espresso or something.
Well, your coffee is much bigger than mine. I got my brunch mug, and it's pretty small, and
It looks
but
like it's about
it's
15 ounces. I mean,
something like that. I've
yeah.
usually gone for my second cup by now, but I think I'm good right now. Jimothy, when I mained Viger, was when the game first came out. This was like the end of closed beta or the end of open beta into the game coming out, and there were not that many champions. And the thing that I liked about Viger and the thing that I liked about some of the characters, this was a game that I bought skins on, and I had a lot of fun just like role playing while I was playing. So like Viger, I got the Shamrock, the like little leprechaun skin, and I loved just role playing as a leprechaun while I was playing. I got the Karthus like Statue of Liberty like skin because they were just so stupid to me that it was super super fun to play the game not seriously but still like trying to win.
Which Nespresso pod? I don't know which one it is. It's black. The pod is black. I know they all come in like depending on what flavor you get of Nespresso, and I do have Nespresso actually. It's funny that you that you assumed that DCU, but I don't know which one it is. My wife buys it, and I just steal it.
You just deal with it.
So I
Yeah,
just deal with it.
I'm a
Also,
coffee is
how's it going,
coffee
Ranger?
person.
I don't think I've ever talked to Ranger where I'm on this side and he's on that side. So
It's strange, right? Actually,
yeah,
it's
it
funny.
is.
I've
It
talked to
is.
Ranger a little bit, but we've never really had a live conversation either. He did some stuff for the Gungis for us, and we've had some text interactions. And but I haven't really jumped on or said anything. But I've seen him do. He does stuff with a lot of the smaller people too, which is really cool. And I think, and not to toot his horn, but the thing that I like about him the most is he does a lot for charity, which is like a big deal for me. So a lot of his stuff goes towards like charitable contribution. So if you're not a Ranger, a reality skewed subscriber, go do that as well because that's very, very, very meaningful to me. Using the platform that we have to try and do some good in this world.
I agree. I've been debating doing some a couple of charity streams. I'm pretty sure I can actually take off work for that.
Yeah.
Um and I've debated doing it because I'm a big advocate for like cancer funding. I had cancer a
Yeah.
few years ago. And so I'm a huge advocate for cancer research and donating to stuff like that. Just because I think it's so important and affects so many people beyond the people that have cancer. So
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I have two thoughts here. First, Ranger, I'm assuming you mean October, just because September has 30 days. Um, but I do want to hear about it. um, but Berm, what I do every year, we started doing this last year. We used to do sponsored streams, which were not like companies hiring us, because I have turned down every company that has done that and asked me to do that. But Stream Elements has like their sponsored games where you can get people to complete feats
mm,
because they want people to spend money. And
yep,
we did
I've done
that
one of those.
to raise money for my PC to start. And then after that, we decided, you know what, we're going to keep doing this once or twice a year to raise money for charity. And
Ooh, that's a good idea. Make the sponsor stream just all charity. That's a
so
good idea.
that's
Yeah.
that's what we did, and we're going to do it again this year. We did it as a holiday thing. So last year at Christmas, right around Christmas, it was like the end of Thanksgiving, so that we could get it around that time and have it finished around Christmas. We do a big sponsored stream. We pick a game that's on Stream Elements. We try to get as many people involved as possible, and every dollar goes to charity. And now it takes about 6 weeks for that money to come in. Um,
I found
so
that out. Yeah. I was
yeah,
like, "Where's this? Where's my money? Where's my money, man?"
and it takes a while. So this year was a little different, because what we ended up doing was, by the time the money came in, the fires in LA happened. And we took a vote
Mm.
in the groups, and we decided, this money that's right here that just came into my account, we're going to send it to the LA fires. And then in January, we did a second one specifically to remake that money, for Child's Play. Child's Play is my favorite charity. It's kids in children's hospitals, and they focus on entertainment for them. Like buying movies and video games and toys for kids that are sitting in hospital beds, because they
By the way,
have different things.
guys, if you guys are gonna Google it, make sure you type charity at the word at the end of Child's Play.
Yeah, no, no Chucky.
Yeah,
Child's Play
yeah. No,
Children's Charity.
yeah, yeah. Make sure you type. I pulled it up. I was like, "Oh, what is this charity?" And then I was like, "It's definitely not the Chucky movie."
No, 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 no,
So
no. It
yeah,
and it
yeah.
came. It's a big charity that came from Penny Arcade. Then, in the big deal with like Wacky Jackie, Jack Thompson, the whole violent video
Really, I
games.
love Penny Arcade, man.
This
Yeah.
whole thing started because of that, because of the whole ban violent video games thing that was happening in the early 2000s, and Jack Thompson trying to cancel everybody, and Gabe and I forgot the other guy's name, Tycho or Taicho, I don't know. They were like, let's do something good out of this, and they are a huge charity now. So I try to raise money for them. But if you want to like do something together towards the end of the year, we can definitely plan something and try to get even more towards that. Ranger, send me details, man. I honestly, I love this kind of stuff. I love using our voices for good. So hit me up, shoot me a Discord message. I would love to either, at the very least, depending on what my time allotment is on the 31st, at the very, very bare minimum, being able to funnel people towards that, because it's a huge, huge, huge deal to me. Um,
No, this seems great, man. No, I really, no, I'd definitely be down for something like that, man. We could definitely come up with like, hey, here's what we're gonna do. We can even sponsor the same game or different games or whatever. That way, it's all the same. Well, it actually need to be different games. That way, because
you could
it's
do
usually
one
like,
right after
hey,
the
when you,
other, or
yeah, usually when it's like, hey, we need new accounts to sign up for this game, stuff like
yeah.
that, just in case anybody's wondering how that works. Most money from those comes from you just signing up for the game and getting to like level 10.
Well, so
Um,
that's the whole thing. Like, we generally will have about 20 to 25 people sign up, and we'll have like myself and maybe 4 or 5 people will go die hard and do all the feats. And that's usually, we pick good ones that have like $120 worth of feats.
nice.
But
Okay.
most people will do like, they'll sign up, they'll get to like level 10, they'll do a couple of the easier things, and they'll make $30 for, the charity. And, I do full, I'm very big on my accounting. So we actually, in my horror channel on Discord, there is a thread there where I post the screenshots of the donations, so people see that I actually am sending that money out to them and making sure that it
Mm,
actually goes where it needs to go. Um, but we can definitely talk about that. We generally start that around like the end of November so that, money can at least kind of get in there around mid-January to them.
okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. We could definitely, I could definitely get on board with something like that. Yeah, we if we know in advance, you can get on like the front page of Twitch and all kinds of stuff to help promote that as well. When you're doing charity streams and stuff, Twitch is very big about putting you on the front page
Yeah.
if that's what you're doing.
where
Um,
where I'm all
and-
about using, obviously I make a little bit of money through ad revenue and everything and people donating, but I am very big about if we can use a platform to like make money for a good cause. I love doing it. It's a lot of fun on my end. I think it brings the community together as well. And we've had a lot of fun playing a lot of really shitty games that are really dumb. And we all
yeah.
hate the games, but it's fun when the people like myself who are really big into the feats, we will figure out a way to break the game. There was one that we played, a city builder that let you like trade between each other. So we started this whole thing where we would funnel everything to one guy to finish him, and then we would like funnel to the next guy like all the resources so that way more people than should have finished all of the feats because they didn't have to do anything. We were just like getting everything to them. And we just find weird ways to do that stuff.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, no, like I said, I am very much about that. I can't even imagine. I like this. I like the children's one because obviously adults we still have a problem coping with that there's something wrong with us, but I can't imagine being a kid and being told like, "Hey, you might die."
Yeah.
Like, but I just started living.
Yeah.
Like,
And you just can't comprehend that idea. And then, even the kids who, at least to me, and I would be down, like, I know I have my favorite charity, right? And if you have your favorite charity, we could split that right down the middle. I don't care. But to me, when you, even if you survive, even if you get through it, and hopefully these kids do, the idea of you lose years of your life sitting in a hospital bed. And I just like the idea of being able to get them things that lift their spirits and allow them to have that childhood within the confines of what they're stuck with.
oh, Ranger said he sent you something. I don't know what he was
Yeah,
sending
I,
me,
I see he sent me
but
a bunch of messages that if I click anywhere on Discord on here, then it just shows up instead of your face. So I'll have to look at them
yeah, I can't click on
after.
Discord either. I'd spend a lot of time making sure that you would show up in my little box. So,
That's why I actually have Discord also on another browser window because I generally on Brunch we do a couple of roster reviews as well and helping people
oh,
advance through the game. I don't know if you've ever done those on stream before on your Swugga streams.
I told people the other day I would do roster reviews, but it was like I didn't change the title to that until after like I'd already done all my other stuff. So maybe it was too late. I don't know. I also stream at a weird time, as you know. Sometimes it's not everybody is ready to go
Yeah.
at
At
7 o'clock in the morning.
Well, because I do it on YouTube too, I can set timestamps. So I don't even care if they're here. I just do them. They submit it on Discord. I do them. I write down the timestamps and I say, hey, you can check this out later if you want to. And that way I don't have to navigate timing things. It makes my life
Oh yeah,
easier.
yeah.
Um,
I got you. Yeah, I
so
do stream on
that's
YouTube as well. I multi-stream to YouTube as well. And then like I was telling you before, like I don't really get it is a new YouTube account as well. I used to get people popping in every now and then on YouTube. Um but yeah, no, that is a good idea. I also don't have a lot of people on my Discord, so I don't have that as a thing currently. Um but yeah, so
you want to
that
pop
is
your
a good
cherry.
idea though. That is a good idea. Do it. Oh, with the roster review? Sure, let's do it, man.
All right, let's
I was
see.
gonna
I have
say
a.
if you wanted to do something, I'm down. I
All
still
right,
have a
well,
little while left before I have
all
to
right.
hop off.
Yeah, I generally within the next hour and hop off. But I like to do like 2 or 3 of them a week. And I know that I have, at the very minimum, I have 2 of them that have been waiting a while. And then I have Xander, but nobody actually cares about Xander. So I don't care if I get to his or not. But
how about if we do it like this? Like you do, they want you to do the roster review, so you do it, and I will just add my input.
well, that's yeah. I want your
Okay.
input
Okay.
as a
Yeah.
creator and as someone who plays the game and gives us a different perspective of that. And you obviously will see on the YouTube. I could share my screen here, but I know that'll screw up your boxes, so I won't do that. We don't want to screw up the boxes. Um, Let me pop in.
I
Let's
don't have
see.
mine. I have mine set up weird. You can. I don't know what you want to do. It doesn't. I
Yeah.
can see your YouTube. I'm on
All
your
right.
YouTube, so I mean,
It's
I
fine.
might be slightly behind, but
That's okay.
message me in Discord when you get a chance. I'll send you the links. All right, sounds good, Ranger. Yeah, I don't. Are we? I don't know if we're in a Discord
I
together or
will.
not, Ranger.
I will let you. I will give you his information later, so that you have it and you
Okay.
can get it to him. All right. Let me go over here. My roster review requests. We're gonna pop over to this one. We're gonna throw it on the screen using my other source right here. I know it can't be seen super well because I don't normally use a source like this for that, but we are at 2. We're gonna stall till 2:12. Just because I don't like doing seconds in my timestamps. Xander doesn't care about Xander either. I love it. And once we get to 2:12, we will start this one and we'll jump around on our sources. It is a favorite person of ours, Unholy Baroness, who I believe very strongly in, but she loves to give me stomach ulcers with just how passionate she is about things that do not belong on our Discord. Um, we're gonna
Here,
we're
let's
gonna
do this just to make this easier.
yeah.
How about if you do share your screen,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna blow you up on my screen so I can see the game because it's taking a long time for the
For the
stream
thing.
for YouTube to catch up.
Um,
Yeah,
I can do that. Yeah, sure. All right. So we will
and
change
then
the timestamp in a second. We will share the screen. We are going
and
to
then I'll have you
share
big, and then I'll
this.
just move my camera
We will have a
to the top.
second thing here. So then I have to change a few sources around, right? But that's okay. Nobody cares.
There we go. Now you're huge on my screen, but I'm still on there, so we're good. And I can see what yours looks like, so I know exactly where to have my camera anyway. So
All right. I'm just moving some things around because I have to move things around as well.
yeah, you're good.
There we go.
Unholy
Oh,
Baroness.
they're Baron. Oh crap! She heard me say semi-nice things about her. Um, that's not good. All right, we're gonna throw you back on the screen there, and we have this on the screen here. Okay, so Baroness's account. We're gonna say 1213 or 213, and go from here. She sent me a ton of text to read. Okay, top 20 of Fleet, a lot of Leviathan's executors, 1% profundities. The executors and profundities are going to change differently. Yes, I can consistently get first place with the PO when I don't forgore, and you should never forgore for people who are old enough, and she most certainly is not, but understands internet lingo. Salt battles, they all look to be CT3, except Peridia Patrol is at R7. Everything else is seemingly CT3. Presently, I'm gearing up and relicking 1 or 2 tunes at a time that are needed to finish teams that I otherwise have relicked. So Afra, Trench, DTMG, Barris, Fulcrum, Ahsoka, Saw, Luthen, Tarful, just a few, nothing too big of a deal. I'm also slowly shard forming in order of priority: Scorch, CX2, Apo, Padawan, Sabine, Crosshair, Huyang, New, Omega, Merc Wrecker, Thano, Temple Guard, Batcher, and Ravensclaw. Are you dead set on anything? No. How highly do you value efficiency? I'd say I generally prioritize efficiency, but if I had to quantify, I'd put it at 90-10. Are there any favorite characters? Not presently. Shards for any important proving ground characters. SM33 is about a third of the way there. Jocasta Nu is nowhere near there, so it's irrelevant. I have all other characters fully unlocked and will be getting Ma's next conquest. Notes. My current plan has me R9ing the Paw Patrol crew and relicking the team for all of the currently beatable. Looking at you, Vander. TW special missions. I'm assuming you mean TB. Unholy Baroness never makes mistakes except for now. So we're going to remind her of that later. Then I'll probably go for either Pico or GL Ahsoka. I'm hesitant to build up any raid teams except potentially a pirate team if Maz is available to get a score. I'm also considering rushing Scorch and R9ing him and Tarkin because I already have a consistent 2.4. I'm way behind on the shards for almost all of the characters needed in the raid, and if I had to guess, we're likely going to get a new raid sooner than I'd be able to build any more teams. I don't really want to farm for Profundity or LV because I plan to get their respective Lightspeed bundles when they come back. I think you posted this before the Profundity Lightspeed bundle came out, so I'm assuming that you did get that. I plan to get their respective Lightspeed bundles. I acknowledge that while that technically may never happen, I see it as very likely that they come back within 3 to 6 months because CG has been rumored to like money sometimes. Also, with the facts that they always re-release some of their bigger LSBs from the past year in November, December. Oh my God, this is like reading a fucking novel. Um, just before the Q4 earnings get reported. I don't think that that's their Q4 though, because I think that their year is different. Corporate year versus a calendar year are different, but I'm not sure when their corporate year ends. The Rogue One ships being a profundity lifter and the 10-year anniversary of the game is coming around. I see it likely that those bundles will come back within 3 months, and I wouldn't be terribly upset if they don't because neither Profundity nor Leviathan would make a huge difference for my account outside of being able to beat a few more TB CMs. Love your 7th favorite Yori fanatic. I don't know what the hell a Yori is, and I'm scared to find out. Please at me before you start if I'm not already in the chat. So UB is in the chat. yeah, yeah, Ranger.
I'm not gonna
It's
lie. That was a lot.
ooh, that was one of the biggest ones. It's very rare that I get one that has that much in depth. I did ask people if it takes up more of than one message that they put a thread. So this was put in as a thread, and I was like, "Yep, that tracks. That sounds like UB." Um,
Gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna say because my attention span's not that long, guys. Just so you know, if you send me messages like that
I
and you
don't read them.
post it in there, it'll get skimmed. It'll get skimmed.
Well, I do. I do skim them, but the reason I ask for these things is I notice a lot of the times when people do roster reviews, they just do it off of the ally code. And then you spend a half hour looking at all of the things that are just like background knowledge.
Mm.
So I make people do that work. You give me the
And then you
background
debate with
knowledge.
people too, right? Because then you end
Yeah.
up, it's like, oh, well, I'm not really worried about this thing. That's why it's like that. And you're like, oh, well,
Yes.
then what am I looking at? Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
Exactly. I want, and if you don't want to do the background knowledge, then I don't want to help you. You know what I mean? Like you got to help yourself a little bit so that I can help you.
That makes
You
sense.
said, let's see if this is updated. So these guys are still Relic 7, but you did say you are going for Relic 9 on them. Your guild, Extraordinary Heroes, which I think maybe is a different guild than you were in last time. They're doing 94 million in the raid, and you're getting about a consistent 2.3. So you're already doing what your guild needs you to do for the raid. Let's just check what those raid things look like. Order 66. Okay, so Keller and Beck. I'm assuming you're doing something with Keller and Beck. You're probably doing a Hondo 300K, a Grand Moff Tarkin 300K, and then maybe some leftover stuff on top of that to get your 2.3. Let's see how close we are to things. All right. So Profundity, yes, she did buy the Profundity Lightspeed bundle. She is going to be getting Profundity. Leviathan, she's got Executor, she's got Jabba, Kylo Ray. She has no Lord Vader. Lord Vader, she's interestingly far enough away from. Um, she has the Gungans, she has Bo, she has Leia. No Hondo. She has Balin, no Jedi Master Mace Windu, no Ahsoka, and no Hondo.
Is this
Um,
the paid for version of Sulgo?
No, yes, but I hope nobody from .gg is here because it's not my account. It's a guildmate's account,
Oh.
and I use his .gg account to do this. He pays for it for himself for insights. So we're not going to tell anybody that that we do that. I think that I am a poster child for telling people to sign up for insights. Um, so hopefully they don't mind, and people have signed up because of me in the past. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, like I was saying, I have my budget and I've hit my budget. So
yeah. Oh no,
yeah.
I try not to
Yep.
pay for these utilities, but
Hot
if
utilities has made my life too easy for me not to pay for it at this point, honestly.
oh see
The remodding for the raids.
my guild leader pays for hot utils because he needs the guild access, and if you buy the guild access, you get 3 player accesses.
Oh,
So I get one of them because I am the TB officer, and he recognizes that I need that. So I get hot utils for free. It's very nice. It's a perk of having to put up with the amount of bullshit I have to put up with as a TB officer. Um,
yeah.
s-
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
it's
I've run TB
great.
because I had my own guild for a while and it's not
It's not fun.
people are like, "Oh, it's not why I don't why are you doing this and this and this and this and why are we doing this?" And it's like, "Bro, if you want to do it, man,
It's
go for
yeah.
it.
I get that
Try it out."
anytime we get new guys come into the guild, they're like, "Why don't you do it the way our old guild did it?" And I was like, "Well, your old guild was doing 39 stars, and I'm doing 44. So if you want me to do
And
it
we're
the way
about the
your old
same
guild is
and
doing,
we're about the same GP.
yeah,
So, I mean, who's
if
doing it
you
right?
if you want to do it that way, then sure, we can do it that way." Um, the thing with reviewing rosters like this is essentially that a lot of the return on investment is already taken care of, and I find it hard to review accounts that already have a lot of that taken care of because it becomes, well, just do the thing that you're interested in, like do the thing that's fun for you at this point since you already are getting all of the back end things. I would be inclined to say that I just want to check Order 66 one more time, though. I want to see where Scorch is. Where is Scorch? Scorch is down here. So he's far off. Even if you do 2
I mean that
refreshes of that, that's 2 months.
I mean that tracks even for where Lord Vader was sitting. Um
Yeah.
why she wouldn't be going for that necessarily, right?
Yeah, and you know, we're doing we're doing a thing here where it's, they're already doing what they need to for their guild.
Yeah.
So there isn't really any reason to go any further unless your goal is to move into a different guild. Um, I would very strongly recommend, I am a huge proponent of this. You should always be building out um, the the passive incomes on your account. Always be building out the passive incomes because even though it'll take a while to get that return on investment, the sooner that you get that into that return on investment is that the better, the faster you're seeing like actual positive growth. So I hate seeing accounts that don't have the R9 Peridia Patrol. I did that almost immediately so that with their refreshes, I'm getting close to starting to see that positive from that. Being at R7, being at 11.5, still needing to shard farm things right now, I think I can make a very strong case for saying get the Relic 9 3 Peridia Patrol boys now while you are slow farming the shards. I do agree strongly with Quigmaster in chat who is saying like, hey, go for Hondo. I think you will see a better return on Hondo than you will for Ahsoka because Ahsoka is a boring ass bitch with her pool noodle. Lord Vader is going to be primarily mostly useless to you until you actually get the clones because he's very easily beatable without them. Um, and
And
Hondo,
then just to be fair, he's still beatable with the clones pretty easily as well. So,
well, he is, and I'm not annoyed by that
to be
because it's
fair,
four marquees,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, to be fair, it's like he's still pretty
Yes.
beatable. So it's like, should he be a priority still? I mean, if you want him,
If
is
you're
is
close
really what it
enough
is.
and you're
Yeah, if
not
you're close enough and you want
close
him, then
enough.
it's like, yeah, then go for it. But otherwise, it's not a thing I'd go out of my way for.
This is, PK Pico is has Smuggler's Run 3 attached. We don't know what that is yet. We haven't heard information about Smuggler's Run 3 yet. We don't know what it will be. We know that Smuggler's Run 2 is a great event. We know that Smuggler's Run 1 was a pretty good event. I anticipate Smuggler's Run 3 being a solid event, and it is another return on investment point. It probably is going to be a mod investment point. Um, I I do think that going for Hondo is the smart move, but because you are shard farming right now, you have the time to do the Peridia Boys and get that return from the Peridia Boys. Um, so I think that that is a strong thing. I think that, Peridia Boys, Pico, and then I've said this to a million people, and you said this, you didn't say this specifically, but in your video that you were talking about like being selfish with your account, you were talking about fleets a lot and like kind of making sure that you were building out things on your account that were smart for you, not just things that were smart for the guild. I just always think that it's smart for people to always, always, always make sure they are completely caught up on fleets. And then I look at something like this comeuppance, just slow farm it. Like just 5 battles a day and get it caught up eventually. And even this Raven's
Yeah,
Claw,
for
I have a strong belief that this next rebel ship that's coming out is going to be so that Profundity and Home 1 are both usable. And if that's the case, you're going to need Raven's Claw.
yeah, and in reference to that, I mean, so it's funny because when I'm talking about that in my video, for instance, like my account doesn't represent my thoughts.
Yeah.
Just because I played the game. I won't say wrong because again, you can play the game however you want, but I didn't play the game the same way that I approach the game now when I made
Hmm.
my account. So it's a lot of catch up, but I also prioritize. I've also prioritized like the raid, for instance. I get
Hmm.
my account's only 9 mil, and I'm doing almost 9 mil in the raid. Um, after JMMW comes out, actually, it's funny because Sonic was saying, "Do you hear what he just said uh, about you don't need to go any further on the raid?" And yeah, no, I do hear that, but I am going to try to push the 10 mil. Um, and with JMMW. But at the same time, it's like you were talking about with the ships. I completely agree with what you're saying to Baroness. Like these ships, in my opinion, because there's not a lot of ships in the game and they take a long
Yep.
time to farm. If you don't have a 7-star ship, and I've started doing it on my account as well, so I can say this without feeling like a hypocrite. Um, you should be farming these ships, at least one of them every day. Hit one of them 5 times every day.
Yes. And, I understand because Ani is saying, like, in the chat, like, comeuppance is a Cantina farm. And I will tell you that with Cantina farms, the nice thing about Cantina farms is you can speed them up as much as you want. So if you need something there, you can do it very quickly if you want to. Um, I happen to, even in K1, K2, I happen to use my Radis in a similar amount of any other ship. But my belief is that you don't have to cut off. I'd rather not cut off signal data for 2 weeks or for 3 weeks or for a month, depending on what node it is on. I would rather say, okay, I don't need comeuppance super great right now. And I think actually Stub said it in chat referencing my video on this. You can say, you know what, I only want to do 3 battles on comeuppance a day, and the rest goes to signal data. So you can still slow farm Cantina things that you don't need as much by doing just a small amount per day and also doing your signal data. And the reason, and I understand it's a psychological thing, but the reason that I support doing that is that when you need that thing, you now are going, oh shit, I have to cut off my signal data for 3 weeks. And then you look at your signal data and go, oh crap, I can't do that. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to get my relics up? I would rather just do like a little bit at a time so that by the time I need to, if I'm not done with that thing, I can jump in and only have to cut myself off for 7 days. So I am a big proponent of just making sure that you are done with fleets and making sure that you are done with cantina farms. Huge deal to me. But with this account, Baroness, you are past the point where you are stuck making very rigid choices at this point. And I think Peridia Patrol, I think go for Pico, go for Hondo. Make sure that you are slow farming Raven's Claw, which I saw you said that you are doing in your in chat. I advocate strongly for just a couple battles on comeuppance a day. I think it is important eventually. That ship hits like a Mack truck. It has 1 GACs for me because something went wrong and I needed something. And honestly, at that point, you're gonna have gas at Relic 9, I think it is. I would say I would say just keep slow farming the other things that you're slow farming right now, and let's see what's coming up next. We are in the era of we have two episodes, and then we kind of I don't know if they're gonna do a single episode or go right into the holiday episode. But with 2 ships, we have catch up time. So this is catch up time. Play your slow farms, get those 2 things done, and just watch and see how other things play out. That is what
Definitely
my
have catch
advice
up
would
time
be.
with the Rogue One. With the Rogue
Yes.
One not needing to be 7-star, you just do the bare minimum and throw it in your reinforcements. I mean, you don't why go all out on a ship that just needs to be in reinforcements?
And that's yeah. So Rogue One, I'm kind of annoyed because I didn't spend money on it, but I did spend the 22,000 crystals to make sure that I could whale it. And I'm like, man, I really shouldn't have done that because it does its job at gear 1 and just having the abilities upgraded. Um, so
Yeah, I like
who
to
knows?
I want to point out like the just remember guys, if you care about GAC, which I know a lot of people do, right? GAC is a huge deal in this game. Um Ships can win you GAC. So if you have all the ships 7-starred and you have your pilot's relic and stuff like that, now you have a counter for
To
everything.
everything.
You have a counter for everything. You don't need to use your executor when they have a Leviathan on defense because there are off meta counters. You just get good at those off meta counters. You might lose a couple times, especially starting out.
Yeah.
But eventually you can get to the point where you're essentially just throwing your meta ships on defense and off meta countering them, and you're winning because most people can't do that. Not
If
everybody,
you're
like you were
smart.
saying, not everybody watches videos and not everybody does this stuff. Sometimes, like my last opponent, I had Levi on defense. He put Executor on offense. He had the counter for my Leviathan, technically, with the endurance. He didn't even try. He
Yeah.
saw that my Leviathan was on defense and he just stopped
He
attacking.
was like, I can't do this. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
he just stopped.
especially if you're not a Kyber player, I would say the majority of Kyber, like 1 to 3 players, probably do watch some videos, or at
Yep.
least understand counters a little bit. But if you're not in that atmosphere, there is a good chance that your opponent just does not interact with the game the same way that you interact with it. And
And there's still some RNG that needs to happen too. So
yes,
just by having that, I mean,
have that chance.
you have a much higher chance of winning by doing that than you do again because everybody, as far as like the characters go, um, most of the time, unless there's something crazy like the Dark Raycron, um, usually you're gonna clear the tunes, and
For the
it's gonna
most
come
part,
down to
there's
yeah,
a
yeah. I
few
mean, unless there's
counters that are
something weird
iffy,
going on.
but for the
Correct.
most
Yeah,
part,
yeah, yeah. Yep, but for the
um,
most part, it's going to come down to did they beat my ships? For me,
yes,
and not everybody's in Kyber, so if when you're in lower levels, if you have ships, that's how you climb. You're going
yeah.
to climb with your ships because these other people aren't farming ships, and I know I've heard other content creators talk about, like, don't worry about ships and stuff like that.
And I hate them. I don't like playing ships, but they are that important if you want to advance. Ranger, I
I
never get a
agree.
good. I haven't gotten a good mod in weeks. You know, I have very extensive filters in my game, and I'll drop this down so that people who have maybe not been here before can see. In my game, I have, and that might throw things off, but in my game for my filters, I have a very, very, very extensive list that I go through every single time that I get new mods or get towards 500. And then I go to the speed check one to see if there's anything new. And I, I always wait for something to break this 15 that I can go, oh, great, I got to put this somewhere. And it's been a while. I've been running dry for a while. Uh, and
It's kind of funny, with the mods because you'll be streaming.
I actually break them down text wise. And there's a link to my video about my specific filters in that post. So if you go on YouTube and type in like Egnards, mod filters, Swugga, or something like that, it'll probably also pop up. But I do where I talk about my own filters, which are like mildly, oh, you got to follow Burm. While I'm talking, I need a Burm dance. That's how this works. You can't
I
let people
gotcha.
down.
I didn't want to interrupt the flow. I didn't
No,
want to
no, no,
interrupt
no.
the
That's
flow.
okay.
So
I'll talk
while
to
he's chatting,
people.
I'll do the berm dance, guys.
There you go.
In case you guys didn't know, in case you forgot, every follow I get on Twitch, I do a berm dance. And AB, I got you.
So while he's doing that, my mod filters are like moderately, they're kind of like in the middle when it comes to how restrictive they are. You know, I could get more restrictive than that, and I think I might actually end up making mine a little bit more restrictive in the future. But I tried to keep them smart for like the average player, where they're restrictive, but they're not um, terrible. And of course, there are things where you can go, oh, I actually want to keep that kind of mod, and you can always just edit that out of the filter. But with that said, Baroness, I think, I mean, that's the way that I would go. And it doesn't seem like that's that much advice, but you're also much further in the game right now. So you don't need the same amount of advice that maybe you would have needed a year ago. And I would just use this time as that catch up, because you've got probably about, 7 to 8 weeks where you can do more catch up than having to worry about, new stuff. We're going to try to get at least one more in here if you have time, Berm.
I actually don't have time. So
Okay.
I'm
So
gonna
we'll
bounce. My kids are
we'll
about to come
bounce you
down.
out, and then I will just keep on going, I guess. But I'm here with the Berm. He is on Twitch. He is on YouTube. The YouTube is newer. But again, I speak to him almost daily. He's a great guy. He generally stream. Well, you stream sometimes during the weeks too, but generally in the morning, because like me, you don't like to stream when it affects family time, which I definitely respect.
100%. I wake up early to stream, and that's why I'm able to stream because I go
Yep.
out of my way to make time. But yeah, I don't affect.
Is out. We're going to leave this up. I'm going to just switch this over to that so that I have this here. Now, one thing have this here. Now, one thing we did not do today is the roster review song. I kind of forgot about it because I was so excited to talk to somebody. So we are going to play the roster review song and go through our whole spiel over there, right? Because that is an important part of what we do here. So give me a second. We'll drop our roster review song, and then we will continue going. Oh, there is a song, Ranger.
Roster reviews. Egnards is having a break and taking a roster reviews. Talking to me that what pack sex should sell to you. Ooh, to you. To you.
So that song is brought to you by Moonborn Burm, who's in chat still. You know, that's what you get when you work with Moonborn. You get just ridiculous things like that. It makes me happy every single time. We will move on to our next review, though. We're gonna pop it over here. We're gonna check it out. We got Grogenorik. Uh, I love that song so much. I want him to do more for me, but I know he's busy right now. He is a teacher as well, and he's had a very not a rough school year, but a very busy school year. Let's get into this next one. Ranger, you're welcome. But so my server boosts. I'm losing server boosts, guys. I'm losing server boosts. Not good. Let's invite Burm to the Discord and create invite to not to Burm. You need to put in just to hear that. Oh, because you're Ranger. You probably are on my Discord because you're Ranger on Discord, not All right, so permissions. We are going to see if he's here. Yep, look at that. He is here. We'll give him permission here to join the super secret channel. Ranger can see the channel. He can connect to the channel. He can speak. He can do video. He can use all of the fun stuff that we have here. I will show him where that. Oh, did he pop in? There
Yeah,
he
I
is.
figured it out. I've used Discord before.
You know, it's one of those channels that's like not always there. So I'm like, let me give people the link. But there you go. Let me change this source around so that we can.
Yes, but remember,
You can see your beautiful face.
oh, do you need me to turn my camera on?
Oh
I
no!
don't think
Oh
I
no!
have
If you
to.
don't want to, you don't have to.
Oh,
You
I
can do totally
can.
voice.
It's up to you, man. Whatever you want to do. Yeah, man. I just woke up, man. So
That's
coffee. I'm like,
that's my
brunch. What
life.
is this? Is it brunch in Europe? What do you mean?
Yeah, You know what? When we started doing this, it's
Some protein, and then I do my stream. So that's probably why I'm not seeing you. I'm like,
it's always early. It's
yeah.
always
I was like,
and when I first started it, it was a traditional brunch. So I would bring in a mimosa. I would have a fancy glass. I'd bring a mimosa. I'd pour myself some vodka. And after a few weeks, I was like, what am I doing? I'm 38 and I'm drinking vodka at 7 in the morning. I need to stop doing this right now. And so I did. And now I just drink coffee on Sundays.
Yeah, like for me, man, those days were well past me because the fans, especially with me, like to punish my ass. So I never know when I'm streaming what I'm gonna get
What I'm gonna do.
twisted. Like, it's like, oh, like one of the big guys like GLD or Pills or one of my other cracking psychopaths will come in there and just start dropping subs or
Ugh.
donations and just like, well, looks like I'm drinking a lot of bourbon today, guys. I'll miss you later. That's the other reason. Yeah, that's why I work out in the morning, because there's no way. They've caught me a couple times where I'm like, I'll just work out in the afternoon. No,
not if you're drinking. And that's why I've never asked. I know you're on with Scribe a lot, and I've done Tribe Talk with him. I see him sometimes go on Friday nights, and if like my wife is out of town or she goes to bed early, I sometimes will go like, oh man, I want to see if I can drop in, and then I go, oh no, I know how much he drinks on those Friday nights. I can't keep up.
It's the Burm Ranger. No, I am the Ranger. He is the Burm, and that is the egg.
Yeah, I'm not bald like everybody else, but the egg kind of implies bald, right? So
Yes,
there's a
yes.
theme. There's a theme going on there.
That's
right. Yeah.
No, I am bald too, but that's by choice. That's because of all the stuff I do for charity. No, literally, I always share the story that you know, because of all the stuff I do for the American Cancer Society and stuff. My dad passed away from cancer, but you know, he made such a big deal because you know with the chemo and the radiation, his hair
Yeah.
started falling out, and of course I'm an ex-military, ex-army ranger and stuff. I've had my head shaved more times than I can count, right? So I'm like, I was like, I'm sick of hearing that. So I went in the bathroom.
You went and you were just like,
I shaved it all off, and I came back out, and I just sat right next to him with that my awful bald white head, and I said, "What are you gonna play about now?" And of course, that made him giggle, you know, because he's like, "I can't believe you did that. Like, you should have known better." So, and now I've just kept it, you know.
it's
It's
just your
kind of
brand now. I'm
well,
sure
it
it's
just
easier, right? Like, cause
it
I
is
hate,
so much easier, you know. Every 2 days, I just shave everything. It's quick. It's to the point, you know. And I'm 50 now, so I don't care anymore. You know, I mean, and it works out because I'm going to be Darth Maul on Halloween, so I'm definitely going to need a
you've
big
got the bald.
shaved bald head. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
I
Oh
want to
boy.
hear, we were going to just jump into this review, but I kind of want to hear now that you're here and not just like in the chat. I used to do this thing and I talked to you about it a little bit a long time ago, Tales Off the
Sure.
Holotables, where I talked to people. And I kind of stopped doing it just because I ended up jumping on so many different podcasts and starting one with Pico that I've scratched my itch to talk to people anyway. Um,
Sure.
but like I said before, I'm very big into using platforms for positive means. Your dad died, he passed away from cancer. My dad passed away a few years ago from brain cancer. My
Yeah.
mom had blood cancer.
Yeah.
My best friend had thyroid cancer. It is something that runs in my circles. It is something that is probably going to end up getting me at some point. Um, I, I appreciate the amount, like you. I've raised a couple $1,000s for charity. Like the amount of above and beyond that you have done with using your platform is insane, and I really do want to hear more about that.
Well, yeah, we partnered with. I've done not so excluding stuff that I've done. Like we had the whole mini thing that happened. I'm
Yeah.
sure you remember that. We
Yep.
raised 25,000 there. We also had Earth Rocker that had a situation. We raised a ton of money for that. So I'm not even including everything, but just for the ACS stuff alone, I think when we had Cara on from the ACS when we kicked off this year's campaign. Um, you know, telling us what the impact was because we've raised about like $100,000 for them, and how big of an impact that is for like 1,500 visits to their
Yeah.
places to help people get treatment and stuff like that. And I had never really, I'm just like, F cancer, let's fight cancer, you know. So I never thought
Yeah.
about it in those terms. So that kind of hit me there when she told me that day. But yeah, and I've done a lot of stuff for vets, being a vet myself, and suicide prevention. But the big thing for me is cancer. You were talking about the children's hospital visit. We've done that. I sent
Yeah.
you a bunch of photos of stuff that we do, of me and my different cosplays that I've done with like the Mando, and then you know, doing parades and doing all these events, and we do MegaCon, and we use MegaCon. We use the funds that we get, buy a bunch of stuff, get an autograph. Like this year for our 2025 ACS campaign, we have an autograph by Ashley Eckstein, Funko Pop, and some other things that we got that we're raffling off and using for the charity. So yeah, it's something I'm very passionate about, especially cancer, because as you said, cancer affects all of us. It's
Yeah.
a horrible thing. Treatments have gotten better. You know, a lot of things have gotten better, but the goal is, especially with the American Cancer Society, to find a cure. So that if you
Yeah.
ever get those words, you've got cancer. Um, you know, the next response is, well, but just take this pill for a week and you'll be fine. You know,
Yeah.
that's what we want. So until I'm in the ground taking a dirt nap, I will continue doing this.
Doing
You
as much
know,
as you can,
yeah,
and
that's what you got to do.
it is awesome, you know, because I mean, I've had this discussion with a lot of people. Like cancer, obviously, what it is, right? It's a mutation, and we use cancer as an umbrella for like a million different things. So, like when we talk about curing cancer, it's not as simple as cure cancer. It's like you have to cure
Right.
this, then you have to cure that one, then you have to cure that one, and there's just so much involved with every specific of every type and like every way that it can affect things. And and for some like major chemo is the way, and for some they have like the new pill that works and hopefully just targets those specific things, but it's not something that is a blanket like cure. It's a
Yeah.
lot and needs to be dealt with. And
Yeah.
it's horrible is
Yeah.
what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's hard, and especially with the kids. You know, the kids, because we've done the children's hospital visits and stuff, and that's really tough to see, right? Because they're just kids, right?
Yeah.
And these kids are sick, but you know what? It's the best feeling in the world where you can make them smile and bring them happiness and just give them a little piece of normalcy and let them be kids, right? Um, and you know that's why that stuff matters. Now it's gotten harder to do that now with COVID. That
Yeah.
really screwed up our visits because it's like with COVID. I mean, because people don't
Yeah.
remember, especially for kids, like when they're going through that treatment, their immune system's
Or
destroyed, so
shot.
they can't risk, like especially with COVID now, risk anything getting in there. So eventually, we would like to start doing more children's hospital visits again, but I totally understand why we can't, and hopefully one day that changes. So, but yeah, until then, I'll keep doing what I do. So what we're doing on the 31st. Please come join us because my lovely lady Desi, who's going to be doing my full makeup for Darth Maul,
Hmm.
every $20 raised, you'll be able to slap me in the face with powder because that's part of the process. I don't know anything about makeup, man. I don't know a thing about it, man. My community and her came up with this nonsense, and then because I wasn't even planning on this. We raised some money, and then it was for the Mando costume that I have, right?
Yes.
And then we raised it, and she got to pick like, and this is like a month and a half ago, what she could paint me anything. She could have made me Bozo the Clown. She just did the front portion painting of me as Darth Maul, and people loved it. And then they're like, "Well, you got to be Darth Maul for Halloween." So
For
I have been
Halloween.
scrambling trying to put this together. So at the last minute, we did a bunch of fundraising for me to get the costume and everything, the makeup. But during that process, she kept hitting me with powder. I'm like, "Why are you hitting me with powder?" And she says, "Well, you have to. That's how you set the makeup in." I mean, I look like Darth Maul, who was in Bogota, because my entire black shirt was covered in white powder. I looked like I was Darth Maul, just face planted in a big brick of cocaine. It was ridiculous. Um, so yeah, but yeah, you can slap me in the face, get all your aggression out on Ranger that day. It's become Darth Maul. So, but yeah, we've got the full cosplay. I'm just waiting for the new lightsaber I got. But we got the costume. I've got the eyes. We've got the horns. I sent you pictures of the horns that we did. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun day. We're gonna stream it all day. We'll raise
Nice.
money,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna go out in the neighborhood and get my revenge and terrorize the kids as Darth Maul.
I
Okay.
definitely I obviously when it comes to everything, I'm probably going to close down my business that night because kids don't go to karate classes on Halloween. So it doesn't make sense to. Um,
Oh, I
I
didn't know
don't.
you taught martial arts.
Yeah, so I own a dojo,
Oh
which
God. Okay.
started during COVID. I worked for someone else for about 15 years. He sold the business because he retired. When COVID started, the person he sold the business to, we kind of realized like, oh, she's only in it for the money. Like it's only about the money. It's not about teaching great classes. It's not about helping people. So I remembered getting on a Zoom call with her and a few people and how she was basically fucking us over. And after that Zoom call, I remembered having another Zoom call with all of the instructors that I was used to working with. And I said, hey guys, listen, fuck her. I'm doing my own thing. It's COVID.
Sure.
I don't need a location. It's all karate online. We have a month. It's the beginning of the month. I don't want to screw over people's like costs because they just paid for the month. I'm gonna do this. I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't know if it's gonna fail. I don't have any money. We're gonna just try, and we did. And I learned how to run a business in a month of lots of figuring it out. And it's now 5 years in. But
What martial art are you teaching?
it's a blended style, but predominantly it's Shotokan karate. Um,
Oh, I have background. My father, when my stepfather, but when the Japanese immigrated after World War II,
yeah,
he learned traditional Japanese martial arts. So I have background in Jiu-Jitsu, Jukite, Shotokan karate, Aikido, Kendo. I've done a lot of Kendo in my past. So yes, I grew up in a traditional
in
like traditional because that's what he did. Like you sat
yeah,
in class and you were on your knees and the whole mantra. I mean, it was as disciplined as it was being I remember as a kid, I'm like, the first three things the same thing his sensei taught him, he taught me, that you learn three things, and you're gonna do them over and over again. You're gonna learn how to do a sweep, a punch, and one kick, and then the other
That's all
part
you
was
need.
learning how to, and then the other part was learning how to fall
Yes,
properly,
even still,
over
even
and
still.
over and over again. It's like, oh my god! So I
It's
have that ingrained in my brain.
we do
Oh,
break
so much
falls
pain.
every class. And my younger, I don't do sweeps with my younger classes, but we do like falling every single class, and they don't understand. To them, it's just like an exercise. And then we
Yeah.
start doing sweeps as they get older, and I'll just show it to them on some of my brown and black belts, and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" I'm like, "No, don't
Oh
worry.
yeah, my
That's
dad was
why
notorious. I was always the dummy. I was always the person that
the
got
uki,
thrown.
yeah."
Oh yeah, I was big time, like just getting tossed around like it was nothing. Like, can you find come, seriously, you know?
That was that was
It
that
was-
was that was me when I with my instructor, because I joined when I was like 15,
ugh,
and I was like between my 15 and like 25, I was the young um healthy one, right? And the other
right.
guys are like in their 40s and 50s. So my instructor would be like, "No, no, no, I'm going to use you. You're young, you're spry. If something breaks, you'll be fine. I'm throwing you all over the room." Um
I remember the worst was during football season, because I would, we had 2-a-days, and then at night, like on Wednesdays he taught, and then Fridays and Sundays. And I remember that Wednesday and Friday of that week, my junior year, when it was like my first 2-a-days, I came in and I'm exhausted, and then he's like, "I need you." I'm like, "No, please, God, no, please, Dad, you have no idea what I just went through." It's like,
it
"You'll
hurts.
be
Everything
fine."
hurts.
I mean,
Everything
the
hurts.
first time he threw me, I'm like, he did an over the shoulder, throw, and I
Yeah,
landed
yeah.
properly and everything, but I just lay there, with that noise coming out. You're like,
I
like
remember
my whole body was hurting.
I remember when my instructor, he had his instructor was in Manhattan in Chinatown, and he was his name Kiyoshi, now it's Shidoshi Nathan Ingram,
Mm.
and he's this big huge like 6'4" giant bodybuilder black guy, like like you walk in and you're like, oh fuck, this guy's gonna fuck me up. And I remembered him coming into our dojo once when I was younger and just demonstrating stuff on me, and I knew in the moment, like, he's going easy on me. I knew in the moment he was like being very careful with me. The next morning, I woke up like, motherfucker, I cannot feel anything in my body,
Oh.
like at all. Like, this is so painful, like the amount of damage that I did. But that's what it was. It was
Well,
very disciplined.
I learned at an early age, cold showers and hot soaking baths are your friend. They
Very,
really are.
very
The
much true.
Japanese are right. That's how you need to do it. It's
It's
like, it's like they were onto something there. It's like, I see what you did there. Yes,
people
yes.
now don't understand. They see like the way that it's taught now, and I try to do both. Like with my adults, I'm very traditional. With my kids, in order to have a kids program, it needs to be very
It's gotta
blended
be
and
fun.
hybrid. It's got to be fun, but you still have to have the traditional undertones. One of my original instructors, he was probably in his 40s when he was teaching me, but he was a former bodybuilder, and I'm convinced he just did not feel pain, and he had no empathy. So he was very much like, I don't give a shit. You're going to sit in that horse stance for 45 minutes. And you're just going to deal with it. And if you complain, we're going to sit here longer. And it is what it is.
Yeah, I didn't really understand, like, at a young age, right? But you kind of bounce back quick when you're younger. But it was after I went, went in the military, that I learned how to properly deal with pain, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're hurt, you just know how to block it out and continue on, which I did not understand when I was younger. But then again, when you're younger, you recover quicker, right?
Yes.
So it wasn't until I got older that I learned how to, after the military and stuff, to get hurt, but you're able to deal with it because you've been in that situation. But when I was a young kid, I mean, I just got hurt and was like, okay, and like, oh, that hurts. Oh well, I'm just gonna go do football. It's like, oh
I'm just
well,
going to go.
derp, derp, derp.
No, as you get older, so last year I was alone at my dojo, and I was practicing like jumping spinning kicks. So I was like doing jumping, spinning back kicks, and I was just practicing them on a bag, and nobody else was there, and I just landed wrong once, and I remember like just toppling and just falling over in the most severe pain I've ever been in, and kind of like butt scooting myself to my office to get an ice pack, and put it on my leg and call up my other instructors and see if anyone could come in, because I was like, I need to go to urgent care. Like, this is bad. And nobody could. So that night, I taped an ice pack to my leg, and I just sat on the mat. And my kids would come in, and my students would come in, and I'm injured. I'm gonna teach class, but I can't demonstrate anything tonight. I'm just gonna sit my ass down. And I went to urgent care that night. My entire foot was purple,
Ugh.
for about a month and a half. And a year later, it's still fairly weak. A year later, I can still feel like when I do certain stances, like, oh, that does not feel right anymore because I don't heal the same way that I used to. And what I was saying to my older brother was there are a lot of things now, being that my lifestyle is very physical, that I have to not take as many risks, like he wanted
Yeah.
to go snowboarding or skiing or whatever. And I was like, I've never been snowboarding, I've never been skiing. I'm not, if I break my leg doing that, I'm fucked. My entire business is gone. Like I can't take that risk anymore. I have to be
Right.
smart about the risks that I take now.
Well, it was interesting. Something my dad taught me, because again, very traditional. Like we didn't test for our black belt. It just when he felt we were ready,
Yeah.
right? And he just, I mean, literally, he came up to me one day and said, "You're a black belt." What? What do you mean? But then he said, "But now the real teaching begins." And I didn't think
Yeah.
anything of it, just going through my stuff. And then it's like 2 years later, he came up to me and he's like, "Okay. I need to teach you something that's going to be really important as you get older." And I was like, "Okay, what's that?" It says economy of movement.
Hmm.
It's like, you're going to get older. It's better to do simple, direct things instead of trying to do all the flashy stuff like kicks and things of that
Yeah.
nature, you know. And he knew I had that with the military. We were kind of the same way, right? With how we did our stuff. So incorporate this, and then he spent time before he passed showing me a few things and like understanding with breathing, a lot of breathing, a lot of
Yeah.
calmness, and again, economic movement. It's one move punch. You're not using a lot of energy, but you're taking your opponent out. And so I've gotten that because my knees, I'm 50 now. The wear and tear
From
the
years
years.
of the military, martial arts,
Yeah. Oh my
football.
God.
Yeah.
Yes, it is Voltron. I will form blazing sword. Actually, that's a guy Silverbolt. He did that photo for us for one of our charity things, and I just kept it with the OG RSG crew as one of the lions and stuff. Of course, I'm the centerpiece, right? I think I can't remember what he drew there. He also drew us as the Avengers, and some other stuff. It's really cool. But yeah, Voltron. Yes, yes, I am the Black Lion.
Well, I
Yes.
am going to steal the phrase economy of movement from now on, because I do get a lot of my teenagers. They will ask me about flashy things and spinning kicks. And I'll be like, yeah, I mean, I can teach. I don't really do those things anymore because I've learned that they are very dangerous and not smart for you. And I'm going to start using that phrasing instead of going in long winded tangents about being smart about how you handle your energy and movements and attacks and everything.
Yeah, I mean, like certain styles, like Jiu-Jitsu Jikite, which is the parent art of all martial arts, is what I was originally taught. It's just, and you see where how karate came from that, or
Yeah.
kendo came from that, or I mean, all of the martial arts. It was when I really got into Aikido and he started me on that because he saw that one of his friends was teaching me and knew the guy, and he that's when he really started really putting that into my brain, about, economy of movement, how it really is important, and if you've never been in a situation, it's like the more you train, it's what we did in the military, it just becomes second nature. So the more you do it, the more it's natural, it's reflective. You're not tensing up, you're not using excess energy, because you've done it so much that it's just secondary. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's the other
it's
thing.
really, yeah, it's something cool to learn. I'd never thought about it until like years later. I was like, well, then this is important. I am older now. I
That
can
was
think about this
even
stuff.
on a smaller scale. I like to tell my students when I was like 18 to 21 and I would spar with people in class, and it was very no holds at that time. I would bounce
Right.
around like a spider monkey, right? And I would kind of like tell them like I'm fast. You're never gonna hit me. But after 2 rounds, 2 2-minute rounds, I was spent. I had nothing. My stamina was great, but I was bouncing around so much that I was using it all. And you learn over time, like, okay, you can still be loose, you can still be relaxed, you can still move pretty quickly, but only move pretty quickly when you have to. Be smart about using your energy because you don't know how long a fight is going to last. Hopefully a minute, hopefully 2 minutes, hopefully one punch, but you don't know, and you need to conserve the energy that you need to conserve.
Yeah. I mean, of course, my martial arts is, of course, you know this, but for all our fans out there, it's not about fighting.
No,
It's about
no, no, no.
development of the mind and the body.
Yes.
First rule of any martial artist, if you ever want to have a true, go into any dojo, and if the first thing they don't teach you is the first thing in fighting is walk away, then
Yes.
they are not a good dojo.
So
Because
it's so
that's
funny because I will have this conversation with my adults, and I'll tell them like if I get mugged, I've been doing this 22 years. I have Brazilian jiu-jitsu experience, I have Shotokan experience, I have capoeira experience. I trained under a guy in when I was in college who was doing a little bit of everything. I feel very confident in being able to defend myself. If you mug me, I'm handing you my wallet. Going, here you go, have fun, bye. If I can get out of
not
this,
worth it.
because what's in my wallet, right? 2 credit cards that I'll cancel later, and maybe $20.
Right.
Like it's not. If I feel like my life is whatever, I'll fight for my life, sure. But most of the time, that's not the case. Most of the time, somebody wants something, just give it to them. Like
Yeah.
I don't care,
Just
and I
stuff.
will firmly tell that to my students every single time. Because you just never know. You don't know if there's another guy over there. You don't know if this guy's got a knife, a gun, or whatever it is. I've done knife defense. I've done gun defense, but I'm not betting my life on that I can do that faster than somebody can pull a trigger. Like that's the stupidest thing in the world.
Well, if even at martial arts trained, I mean, we trained on that in the military, but that was because we had to, right?
Yeah.
And you can become proficient and do it, but I'm not doing it now. I'll tell you that much. It's like, oh, here's my wallet.
Yeah.
Anything else? You
Easily.
know?
I'll give you everything that I got on me, right? You want me to
Yeah,
streak down the street naked? Fine. I'll whatever. I don't care.
yeah,
If I have
I
my
don't care.
life, wonderful.
I can be butt naked and giggle later, you know? I mean, I don't care. The only time I've ever told to anybody where you will have to stand your ground is if someone's trying to get you into a vehicle and or trying to take you
Yes.
somewhere. You fight till,
Yeah.
you do whatever it takes to not let that happen.
Well,
So
that's the
that's the
difference
only time.
between somebody wants something or somebody wants to hurt you, right? Like if
Right.
somebody wants to hurt you, yeah, I was with knife defense. One of the things that I was told with knife defense, right? If somebody is brandishing a knife at you, they want something, right? If somebody's hiding their knife, right? They want to hurt you. They
Yeah.
don't want you to know that they have that knife. And that's kind of like the understanding of the environment and being able to read what people are doing and what people are
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. So how you been, buddy? Enjoying this test environment?
It, it's I feel like it's been very interesting. With the new build that we've gotten, with the things that we can say, obviously, because for those who don't
Yeah.
know, Ranger is in there as well. I haven't had the time to really sit as much down with the second build as I would like to. I feel like a lot of my conditioning and talking has been in the talking points and saying to people and expressing the math and why things are the way they are or shouldn't be the way they are, or why this feels bad or doesn't feel bad, and trying to hopefully get somebody smart on CG's end to listen to me. But it is it's hard playing on blue stacks, right? Because I think I'm
I
on my
couldn't get
PC.
BlueStacks to work. I just gave up.
Ugh,
I messaged them and I said, "Look, I've tried this multiple ways. It's just not. It's just not turning over. It loads, and then it's just I'm just sitting there going,
it's not doing
okay,
anything.
forget that. No, and I've already sent the screenshots and stuff. I'm like, I got on my phone. I'm good. I can go in there
As long okay,
and
so as long as you can and do
oh
it,
yeah, I've
I
got. Oh yeah, you see me. You know me. I'm in there, man. I've been streaming and doing stuff live for everybody, and giving them results and providing that feedback to CG because it's like this is a big deal, you know. So, um, you know, and I keep telling everybody, listen, I've been around this before. I was the OG beta tester back in the
yeah.
day, you know. So this isn't my first rodeo, um, but just trust in the process. Like, look, CG is going to do what CG is going to do.
Mhm.
I think everybody, and I've been saying this, our initial response is, yeah, don't do this.
Mhm.
Okay, we've made that very clear. But if you are going to do it, we are going to make sure that the limiting factor, and CG's been saying, you saw the document, you know, I
Yes.
mean, that was something I was up their butt about. I'm
Mhm.
like, if you do this, you got to triple the economy, and like
Yes.
this is the percentages you got to be at. I'll test the other stuff, but I mean, I'm just this is my line in the sand, you know, looking at this, and if I even sniff that this is just too much, I'm going to let you know. So
So
I've
this
been encouraged by some of the responses.
this is something I was having a conversation about with Burm earlier, who's not part of the beta, and you are now. And it's almost like I am a very outspoken person. I have a very big Discord community. I am on the text of Reddit, even though I try not to be anymore.
I ignore Reddit.
And a lot of the time, I am saying, do not do this. This is bad. This will screw things up. But they're going to do it. So I'm going to try to make it the best I can. And I feel like a lot of people are hearing, oh, he supports this. No, I
Yeah,
don't.
the chill argument, man. Just do what I do. I had a guy that longtime viewer called me a shield the other day. I just banned his ass
Yeah, I remember you
and
saying
corrected.
that in the content creator Discord.
Yeah,
And
just like no, ignore that. Ignore the noise, man. I mean, if you're not gonna be constructive, like you know, me, a shield, the guy that's dropped more f bombs in 10 years
yeah,
than most of the other streamers combined. Trust me, I don't get paid. I don't get anything. I never have. I do it because I care. If you think that makes me a shield, then go watch something else. You're not welcome here.
yeah,
I got better things to do with my time than deal with your stupid ass.
I
Um,
100% agree.
you know, because if that's your argument, then you're not a person I want to have a discussion with. Like if you have legitimate complaints and you have legitimate like solutions, I always say if you're going to be constructive and give good criticism, great.
Yeah, yeah.
What are your solutions? All
And
right,
I've
that's
seen
the
some
other aspect.
great I have seen
Yes,
some great constructive criticism, and I appreciate those people that actually
yes,
break down reasonable points.
yes,
Um,
very reasonable points. And
but
there are points too, you know.
yes,
So like we play this
and
game too. We're in this shit too.
I think what a lot of people don't understand is, you know, we have our channels in which we are communicating with CG, and they're getting feedback from us, and we're having those conversations with them, and we are saying the same thing the players are saying. They just aren't seeing the extent to which we are hounding them,
Yes.
because they can't see those things, right? We can't share those things. We can't share
Yeah.
the things that they say back to us unless we get clearance to say certain things about certain processes. But we're we get it, and we know, and we are doing our best for that. Um,
So the mics are cutting off a bit.
oh, I test test
Test,
test.
test, test.
Blah blah blah. I
Blah blah
maybe I was just too
blah.
far away from my mic. That's a possibility.
I'll try to be slower and less animated and near to the mic. I apologize. This is why I use Zoom instead of Discord, because Discord I found sometimes does this where the
Yeah.
mic gets funky and stuff. And so I was like, yeah, I got tired of that many years ago, and I just like, I'll pay for Zoom. Yeah,
It's
I'll.
it's funny because I used to, when I first started doing this stuff, I would use Zoom, and some people would give me pushback. They're like, "Oh, I don't use Zoom. Ew, you use Zoom? Like, who uses Zoom? I just use Discord." And I've been thinking about going back to Zoom because I've been having that issue with like Pico Burrito when we do Zato Protocol. He's been having issues, and I'm like, maybe we should transfer this over. I already pay for a Zoom account for my company, so I just use that. You know, like I change my name to Egnards from my real name, and I go, all right, we'll jump on there.
Is Frozen Italiano? Hey, buddy. Is there a conversation with CG, or are they just collecting your feedback? Oh no, it's a conversation.
It's a
Trust me.
conversation.
Daily,
It's and I've
hourly.
said, again, we can't share everything, but there's the conspiracy theory aspect where people are like, oh, they're doing this to do that and walk back things. I believe from the conversations that we've been having, um, not that they're listening to everything that we say, but that the idea behind the beta test is genuine. That they are actually trying to make this work and they're not actually trying to throw us to the wolves or walk back things on purpose because this was their plan the whole time. We've had those conversations, and I do believe there is a good faith from them, whether or not they do make the right decision.
Well, they're going to make the decision that they're going to make. All we can do is just, like I always say, as a beta tester, my job is to, as a beta tester, is like I'm a counselor. I give you
Yeah.
the best advice that I think you need to hear. You make your decision. You live with it, and they
Yes.
know better because they wouldn't have invited some of the people they invited if they were, if they thought they could use us as scapegoats. I think
Yeah.
they picked the wrong people to do that. Yeah.
Can't cancel me all you want. I don't care.
Like I don't like and because they know like just for myself that if they tried that crap with me, I'd crush them.
Yeah.
They know that I'll speak my mind and say what needs to be said. So, um, so we're working on it slowly but surely. It's a process. I've been through this before. I try to remind people that that back in the day, the reason from like up till 2022, when we had the beta program, things ran a lot smoother back then. Why?
Yeah.
Because you had a lot of us in there testing this stuff and making sure
Hmm.
the kits worked, and that we were finding all these bugs, and there was a lot less problems. Then, of course, Datacron thing happened, and then it disappeared. And um, so I'm hoping to get us back to where it was previously.
Yeah.
And with this test environment, us testing stuff for them, I think that's been one of the weak things that CG, I think, has missed out on, and you can tell by the releases since then that it's been problematic. You know, yeah, they do testing, but I mean, what, QA testing, you just make sure it works, and even then, it's
Hmm.
like you're not going to catch everything. So I'm hoping that this provides a way for them to start trusting us again, getting us back in the beta program, testing all this new stuff, and giving them the feedback. One, so it's a better quality game for the community, but listening to our advice,
And that
about
is that is
what
the
we're seeing.
purpose. I don't know if you were here when I was talking to Berm about this specific thing, but in the pre beta meetings, I reached out to Meathead and I specifically asked him for clearance to say, hey, can I say these things? His goal is to expand the beta program. He really
Yeah,
fought for this. And if we want this to go well because we want that expansion, and I told him, I was like, dude, like you need to let me tell people this thing because not that it paints them in a good light. I don't give a shit how they're painted, but like I know he's going to bat, and I just feel like that's an important part of this beta process is understanding that they want to do more, but they've been burned, and
yeah, that was a
I
bad. God, I was right in the middle of that when that
yeah.
happened. That was rough, man. Oh man, it was rough when the beta program because I was in the program,
Yeah.
and then that happened, and I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
golly. Which was what a shit show that was. Oh my god. I still
I
to this day don't know who did it. I don't really care. It just ended up the program being destroyed
just
because of it.
destroyed, which
But I do
sucks.
like, and I think they learned the lesson because before we couldn't share or say or do anything. You were in the
Yeah.
beta program, you couldn't say anything, you couldn't talk to your community, you weren't allowed to put anything out. I like that this time we are, and I
Yes.
like the transparency. That is a big difference from last time. Conquest. I do like the
Yeah.
changes, but I
Yeah.
do want to get in there, and I know Karth and some of the other guys are going to have dropped their accounts so that they could get in there in Conquest and play it at lower tiers. I've been just mainly looking at PvP and
Hmm.
just bugs and stuff. So I've been doing a lot of testing with that at different levels. Um, like Relic 7 versus Relic 9 or Relic 5 versus Relic 7. What is like that two relic difference is like my main thing I'm looking at. because I think like if you're Relic 5, you're facing Relic 7, is it reasonable to
To still
still
win.
win?
Yep.
Because let's say it's 20%. Well, if you have a Datacron and you make that up with like, you know, a 60% offense or something, that still could give you a really good shot.
Yeah.
But like that Relic 3 difference in 4, man, it's still too much, man. Oh my god, I think it's still way too
it
much.
gets silly. It does get silly. And I brought my account down. I had them bring it down to R5 because I felt like that was a smart area where I could test up to R9, you know, which is like a 4 relic difference. So I've been doing that. I think that the conquest thing they did where they're bringing everything down to R4, R5 as a maximum is going to be very helpful. But again,
Yes.
you know, and they said this to us and they did clear it, is kind of saying the idea of, you know, if this negatively affects feats, we are going to try and look at it from another perspective to make sure that it doesn't continue to negatively affect feats.
Your audio seems to be cutting pretty bad.
Okay, I guess I have to be loud. I don't know. My filters are as are.
Let me look. No, that's right.
Maybe Discord is telling me, hey, this is long and your wife is on her phone upstairs looking at TikToks right now. So
That's okay. But yeah, well, so when do you normally stream it, Aggie? Like in the morning?
I typically, I mean, my only stream that I do normally is Sunday mornings. I do like 7:30 in the morning to like 10. I
Okay.
do my brunch stream. Anything other than that is like, oh, my wife went to sleep early. You know, like she was really tired today. She passed out and there's a GAC. Okay, sure, I'll do a GAC. It's the only one that I am consistent on. You know, I'll jump in with other people if they ask me to. I know you've done Club 30, is it 36, I think, with
With
Ali
the
and
ladies?
Kate.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've done everybody's stuff. Yeah.
I've done that with them. I've done, you know, with Phil. Like if other people ask me to come on, my rule is that I will do one nighttime thing a week. So that like my wife isn't like, well, when's my time? So I try to keep it to that. And I've done like Scoundrels and, you know, whatever else I need to do, but just as a slow roll. And then everything else is I film videos at like 5 in the morning. You know, I get up early, I film them, I get them out there, I send them out right when I get to work, because you know I don't want to take up that time. Though right now with the beta being so big, so important, I have told her I was like, look, sometimes I might need to jump in and do like a 30-minute quick video to get these thoughts out quickly because this is like it's a limited time, it's a temporary time. It's not like an everyday thing. So she, you know, has been good and understands that.
Yeah, and that's and it's a temporary thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
it must be YouTube because I'm not seeing anybody saying that on Twitch. So yeah, it's a YouTube thing. There's been some funky stuff going on with Twitch and YouTube of late. It's been driving me nuts, and I don't know what it is. Because like, I don't know if this happened to you. I was on Twitch and it just reset, and I'm just like,
I had
what
something
the?
like that happen like a week ago, and I was like, well, I
I'm
don't know
like,
how to
what?
fix it.
Like, you can't. It's something to do with their software, you know,
Yeah.
and not us. Because I would look at like I use OBS. I'm like, I'm still streaming. It says I'm good. And I'm like looking over like what is happening right now, you know? It's like you know, so but yeah, it's and then someone said Lost Swamp Rat was like, no, it's not you, brother. It's
It's
this,
them.
this, and this. Yeah, and I was like, oh man. So you guys on YouTube, apologies, but not much we can do about that right now. Sometimes these platforms we're at the mercy of those platforms.
Of whatever
and
they
so,
have.
yeah,
Which
so
it
like
is
you just
what
have
it
to
is.
refresh. You have to refresh and I apologize. There's not much we can do about it. Sometimes, like YouTube, man, yeah, it does weird stuff. Like Twitch, it resets. YouTube, you get like glitches in the system where the audio cuts out, or I don't know what the hell's going on with it. So that's something they need to fix. Not
Yeah.
on our end. Yeah. So
We try. We do what we can. We're at the mercy of them.
yeah. So. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought I'd come in and hang out for a little bit with you before I have to go get my day started. And yeah, you're more than welcome anytime, brother, on RSG. You know that. So, and you know, Remember the 31st.
No, that I will definitely remember. So that this spawned a whole conversation that changed it. But so my goal, I'm gonna close down the business that day because it doesn't make sense. No one's gonna be there. Now, what
Sure.
I'm gonna do that day, I'm not 100% sure. I know my wife she is very big on Halloween, so I can't commit to anything right now. But I will as a bare minimum make sure that I'm getting the message out for you guys. I would like to.
It'll be during the day. So
Okay.
that still leaves your entire night for Halloween activities because we're not streaming after I get made up and everything, which is going to take
Yeah.
a couple hours.
Well, what day is Halloween?
It's Friday the 31st.
I also work in a school, so I'll be
Well,
at
it's okay.
school. But afterwards,
okay.
we'll see. It's like 3. But either way, if I can't, I would love to do some stuff with you guys. But as a bare minimum, I want to funnel people over there because it is a big deal, and I want to make sure that the message is as wide as possible.
Yeah, well, I'll send you the Zoom, and whenever you get some time, you want to jump in, just like everybody else, just jump in. You don't even have to put your camera on. You can just jump in, and I mean, we share a lot of stories that day. That's one of the big things, and you'll see it on the Tiltify. What I love about Tiltify is that all the money goes directly to the charity immediately. They get that. It goes directly
Right away
toward them. But we always encourage folks to leave their stories. With their donations and stuff, and we read those out, and we have people come on and share their stories.
Awesome.
And that's what it's all about. This, awareness. Raising money, helping the charity out. So yes, we're talking about Halloween Day. There, Lost Swamp Rat. Yes.
Hey, Womp Rat. What's going on, man?
Mention his name 3 times,
and he just appears. Yeah, and then he goes off and does his own stream, and we generally are raiding into Womp Rat. We're either raiding into Womp Rat, Nooch, or Burm. One of the 3 people who on a Sunday morning are able to stream. So I have to go soon because we do have a movie and chores that need to be done. I feel bad I need to get this one more review out because they've been waiting for a while. I don't know if you want to join me for that and give your perspective.
I can dip out and you
Okay.
you do your thing. And I said you have an open invitation to RSG. If you need me anytime on a stream on a Sunday or anything, just message me at least a day ahead of time. Don't be like Scribe the day of turkey. And I just basically just at least give me 2 hours, Scribe.
Yeah, and because it changes plans. I understand that, and you go, oh crap, I don't like dealing with last minute.
Sunday is like my day off, but I don't mind doing stuff like this. And I'm a big supporter of all those content creators. To me, we're all one big unit, and so if I can come in and jump in, answer questions, as I always say, I may be the guy doing this the longest, but everybody does it better. So
I don't know about that. I make shit up as I go along.
I do it all the time. You kind of have to.
So I'm going to check out those messages you sent me probably tonight, but definitely I'm going to definitely take you up on that at one day or at some point because and Halloween, I have that written in my notes cards that I'm always taking on these things. For anyone that does not follow Ranger, which is, I mean, again, you've heard me talking. He's just somebody who's been around this community for such a long time, but also does his best to like give back in very meaningful ways. Definitely check him out. Definitely, follow him. Halloween Day, put it on your calendars. I will remind you guys if you're on my Discord because I will send that out with my media links. And we will, get that stuff going for Halloween. Grog, we're not making you wait. I promise. I'm doing yours before I leave. I promise you, man. I am. It's going to happen today. Especially because you're constantly here waiting. So I'm making that happen.
He's the Matt Damon of your show. Sorry, to
Matt
Grog.
Damon.
We ran out of time, Grog. Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Oh,
all
man.
right, y'all have a good one. I'll get out of here. I got to go pick up somebody and do some errands. So love you guys. Be safe. And
I
I'll
appreciate
talk to you soon,
you,
Eggy.
Ranger. Thank you, man. All right, we are gonna get this last. We're gonna get this last one done, and then we're gonna call it my day, and we're gonna get my stuff that I need to get done today. Let's see. We're gonna change. Even though you're on right now, we're gonna change this timestamp so that you can always come back to it. We're gonna see your account. We have you right over here. Where is it? Nope, that is a message. Delta, premium regular reviews. All right, Grog. Top 20 in fleets is mostly Leviathans with the occasional Executor. I don't communicate with anyone in my shard. I don't take ships too seriously. Your assault battles, Rebel Roundup CT3, CT2, CT2, CT3. I'm going to say somewhere in the mid game. I'm thinking like 6 to 8 million, maybe a little on the early end. What are you currently working on? Main project is Grand Inquisitor followed by Lord Vader. Are you dead set? I'm flexible. How highly do you value efficiency? I've done all the fun farms, though the upcoming Zuckuss may change that. I know it's going to change it for a lot of people. A lot of people have been looking forward to Zuckuss for a very long time. Shards for important proving ground characters. The only one I'm currently struggling on is Interceptor. The rest I either have unlocked or have 3-starred. So I have you here, 10.5 million. Now, this is a little bit on the lower end of my expectation for where I feel like you should be, especially with some of these assault battles. So I want to kind of take a look at that really quick. We have you here. We have Jabba, so we're doing Rebel Roundup. Secrets and Shadows. What is the one? Places of Power, CT2. Do you have Dark Ray? We do not have Dark Ray yet, so it's still a CT2. What about Malik and Malgus? We have Malik, but not too high up. Malgus, not too high up. Treya, not too high up. You could probably get Secrets and Shadow. Not Secrets and Shadow. Places of Power to CT3. It will require a little bit of work and, you know, to do the Sith way, depending on where your DS Ray is right now and if you even want to bother with that. But it involves using Papa Palpatine as the leader, using Sith Eternal as your secondary, and then having a fairly strong Malik, having a fairly strong Treya. And I like to use Darth Revan in there as well because it starts to pass around all of the TM. I think that that's up to you, whether or not you want to do that. I actually think that CT1 is really the important part with the assault battles. Ground War, Jedi. Let's see. You have Jedi Knight Luke. You should be getting Ground War fairly easily. And that is going to involve using Jedi Knight Luke lead. If you take Jedi Knight Luke lead and you take all of the speed off of him, right? Right now, it looks like you have only this speed arrow on him. And if you're using him as the leader, that's great. If you're not using him as the leader, you do want some speed on him. But for this mission, you're going to use him as the leader, take all of the speed off, all of it. Put a crit avoidance or an offense arrow on. Jedi Master Luke as your second. I like Jedi Knight Revan in there. I like Hermit Yoda in there. And I would maybe... out of who you have, I don't like Gas in there because he's hard to control. I might put General Kenobi in for the mass attack. And basically the entire strategy is whoever goes first, use the called ability so that Jedi Knight Luke can then stun. And then everybody is speed limited and you can work your way through the enemies. And your goal is to work your way through slow enough that you have a stun ready for the next round, and you end the round with the called ability. So Jedi Knight Luke always starts the round. And if you do that, CT3 of Ground War is actually insanely easy. It might take 2 or 3 tries to get it down right, but it really is super, super insanely easy. One thing that I'm not liking here is Duel of the Fates to me is one of the smartest things that an account can do. And it really, really, really pains me when I see accounts that have not prioritized the boys, right? So Padawan Obi-Wan and Master Qui-Gon. I really strongly think that at your level, they need to be bare minimum Relic 7, but really should be R9. And I would prioritize that as a semi short-term project. It is one of the best events in the game to work towards. And I think it's always a mistake when people have not done that. I see Forest Moon is not up there yet either. I want to check out my troopers. Veer Stark Piet. So this is another one. It looks like you have the Zetas already. If you mod these guys for speed predominantly, right? Who is I always forget who the leader is. I think it's Veers. I can't remember between Veers and Stark. Okay, so Veers is the leader. If you use Veers, Stark, Piet, and then I would do like Dark Trooper and Range Trooper, and you get them fast. You mod them really fast. Places Forest Moon CT3 is super easy. You don't need anything other than making sure that they're fast, and it's worth doing because you'll only have to do it once. And it's so easy that I did it on Vance's account without having to farm anything for him. I literally just changed a bunch of his mods around and I did it on his account. And we all know Vance, right? And I was able to do it with his account. If his account can do it, your account can do it. That's just how it is. I want to see raid history. You're doing about 1 million. Huck Cartel. What's the story with this guild? Do you want to be in this guild? Is this a guild of friends? Is this your guild? Because you could definitely be pushing up a little bit. Is it because you're like semi-casual and you don't want anything that's like too, that has too much going on in it? That's like a big part when it comes to like what my answers to you are. Owie, is that okay? I personally use all of my normal energy on Electrium conductors because I feel like that is one of the biggest relicking, things. The toughest part of relicking things is Electrium conductors. I understand what you're saying with Shard Shop currency. I have started to use my Shard Shop currency towards currency for datacrons. I don't think it's necessarily wrong to do what you're doing, but I just see such a big problem with Electrium conductors that's where all my energy goes. Well, Grog, what I would say is you probably can get into a guild that is still semi-casual, but also doing more than your guild is doing right now, personally. With 10.5 million, you're in a guild that averages 8 million. You could probably punch up to like a 500 million guild that is really just asking you to platoon and deploy without having to go too crazy. That's up to you though. I want to check out. But as it stands right now, you really don't have to do too much more in this raid because you're already hitting the goal that your guild needs you to hit. And if Relic Delta does come to the game in raids and in any meaningful way, your Grand Moff Tarkin will do more than 300k because of that. Joined about a year ago, unlocked Leia and Jabba since my previous guild was dead. You definitely could punch up a little bit, Grog. I would say if you want to punch up, then it would be smart to go the Grand Moff Tarkin and Scorch route and try to get them both to R9. If you don't want, because that'll make you very attractive to guilds at like the 550 million. But if you don't want to do that, you are already hitting the averages your guild needs you to hit. I know you don't like ships. Ships are a huge part of this game. I really, really think ships are super important. And especially right now, because of the Rogue One destroying executors, depending on what your fleet shard looks like, mostly Leviathans, some executors, you probably can get into the top 50 without too much effort by having a strong ship. I don't think you'll beat Leviathans with your Executor, with your Profundity, just because, you know, you'll need a lot of higher level stuff for that. But it is, everybody hates ships, but we all do it because it is something that is so important to this game. Did I miss that you have Executor? Are you wait? Oh yeah, you are. You have it 4 stars right there. Okay, perfect. Tools, gear tracker. Okay, about 800 away. You have Leia, which is nice. You don't need Jar Jar. Grand Inquisitor. Okay, Grand Inquisitor and having R7 will also make you attractive to some of the guilds that are still farming for Third Sister. I do like the farm. Once you have Third Sister, it's a very transformative farm. Oh, no. P1 to round it out. Yeah, okay. Lord Vader, you're semi-close to. I don't think he's a priority farm, personally, at all. You know, let me see. You have Fury class. If I were you, like truly if I were you, I would be gunning hard for Leviathan. We just got a fleet meta shift with Profundity, and they want Leviathan to stay on the top, which means that Leviathan is going to stay king for at least another 6 to 8 months as a bare minimum, I think. So what I would be doing is I would bring my Peridia boys, not my Peridia boys, I would be bringing my Duel of the Fate boys to R9. I would be finishing up Grand Inquisitor. I would be slow farming my Executor, right, and working on that. I would shore up my Forest Moon. We talked about that with Veer's lead. I would shore up my Ground War. We talked about that with Jedi Knight Luke lead. And I would be putting everything into getting Leviathan because it is a brain dead win. We all hate fleets. And even if you don't fleet climb every day, even if you don't do 5 battles a day, it is such a brain dead win that you can throw it on auto after the first 45 seconds. You do a couple quick things, then you throw it on auto. And right now you are getting 0 fleet crystals per day. Even if you bring yourself up to getting 100 or 200 fleet crystals a day, which is not going to be that hard for you, it'll make a fundamental difference on your account. So if I had your account, that is what I would be doing. I would be finishing my Duel of the Fate boys. I would be shoring up those assault battles that you already have the tools for and don't need to invest any further tools in. And I would be gunning hard to make sure that Leviathan is in a usable condition. And you need it, but I've said this before, the best time to farm a fleet is before you need it. I hate fleets. You should always have some degree of priority towards them. Can you be working on Grand Inquisitor at the same time? Yes. I mean, you have them all at R5, so I'm assuming you unlocked Grand Inquisitor. Nope, not yet. You're probably working on that battle now. You're going to want to bring that to R7, you know, so that you can do the Third Sister battle. Can you do that? Yes, because right now you have your hierarchy of farming, which is what you are relicing, you know, what you are gear farming, and what you are shard farming. So you're relicing your Grand Inquisitor right now, your Grand Inquisitor stuff, while you're gear farming some of the Leviathan stuff. And as you start to finish Grand Inquisitor, you'll start to relic some of this stuff. And having Malik at that higher level, you know, he needs to be Relic 9. That might actually fall you exactly in place where you need to be in order to do places of power at CT3. So that is what I would be doing right now. And I said this before, you've been on the stream, you've heard me. You know, you might want to go for Zuckuss, and that's fine because I don't have any problem with people going for fun farms. You want to do fun farms, then great, do fun farms. But my thought would be, you know, that comes not that that comes after this, but like this is your time to play catch up because it ships and like some non-existent stuff. As far as the last tier of Grand Inquisitor, it's been a very long time since I've done the Grand Inquisitor event, and it sucks and I hate it. My opinion would be bring all of your Inquisitors to Relic 7 because you're going to want them Relic 7 for the third sister battle anyway. So you might as well make the event easier for you. That would be my biggest thought. You know, like why make it harder for you at the lower level when you can make it a little bit easier for yourself, and not have to worry about it on something that you're gonna have to do anyway, if that makes sense. I believe that Rabid Beaver has some great guides on the event itself. I would look into those, just because for me, I did that event. Right. Okay, you're right. Not all at R7. The 5 do 5. So, the one that you're not going to want to do, you're right. Call me out. I get it. The one that you're not going to want to go past R5 is second sister, right? So 7th sister, 9th sister, 5th brother, and 8th brother. Bring those guys to R7 because those are the ones that you are going to use. Well, no, 2, 3, 4. Bring 4. Yeah, that is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7th, 9th, 5th, 8th to 7 because Grand Inquisitor will be your 5th. Second sister can stay at R5 as long as she fucking wants because nobody likes her. But that would be the advice that I give to you. I think that that is the smartest way. And we are in this weird catch-up time where you can do those things without worrying about the degree of content moving at the speed of light right now. Have I made your time worth the 2 weeks that I unfortunately made you wait? Are you like, okay, that was worth it? Or do you have other questions? Have I made it worse for you before we log off for the day? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm just gonna sing until I get some sort of confirmation. Ba-dun-da-da-ba-li-di. It's gone quiet. All right, excellent. So then, with that said, I have things that need to be done today. My wife and I are going to see The Strangers too, and we have chores to do, and it is football Sunday, and I've been on a lot longer than I normally am for a Sunday. I will keep you updated on the beta stuff, or at least what I'm allowed to tell you guys. I appreciate those of you who actually join here, because I know none of you are the ones calling me shills. I appreciate the support you've given me and some of the DMs that I've received over the last couple of days of people telling me to cancel out the noise. So I really, really, really appreciate those people. Thank you guys. I look forward to brunch next week. Peace out. See you guys later. And Darth Link, I'm sure I'll see you later because you like to pop in with user too. So, we'll see that going.